Hello and welcome to the Movie Scoops podcast. I'm your host Sean, and today we've got two very special guests with me. We've got the man, the myth, the human nerd, Patrick Wilkinson.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
You might know me from YouTube. Should I do a brief introduction
Yeah.
or? So on my channel, I do a bi-yearly video series called Back Home in Alabama, where me and a childhood friend of mine, Tom, we go and we look for sewers and we just vlog. We just go around. In our last and most recent video, we looked for the mythical bunyip, and we did that for like 6 hours straight.
Did you say you go
Yeah.
into a sewer?
Yeah,
Like Teenage
well,
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
we can't go not sewer, but storm drain.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but it just makes it easier if we say sewer. It makes it sound more loose, because if you say storm drain, people are like, what? Like the gutter? And you're like, no, not the gutter. So if you say sewer, people are more like, ooh,
Yeah.
that caught my ear.
And also we've got the knockoff Ant-Man, the one that you get from the dollar store, not Scott Lang. We got Spencer Lang.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
I was waiting for you to introduce Craig.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
For audio listeners, well, this is only audio listeners, we have a very special guest with us. His name is Craig. He is recording our podcast, so
Say hi,
say
Craig.
hello to Craig.
Say hi.
He's a bit shy.
Yeah, he's a bit shy.
Come on, buddy.
He's
You can do
giving
it.
us a wave.
Yeah, he's giving us a wave. He's saying
Alright.
hello. He's saying hello to the audience.
He's on the other end of the table. He's drinking some gamer subs, not
Not
sponsored.
Yeah,
sponsored.
100%,
You know.
100%. So, it's been a while. It's been a while since the last podcast.
It
It's been like
has.
over a year. And, like, it's just been hard to do a podcast because I've just, a lot of stuff has happened in my life. I went to uni with these two guys. These two guys is where I met them.
Hey, what's up? We went to uni with
Separately,
Sean.
I drove a car.
Yeah. Oh, so did I. I drove a car as well.
Well, no need to brag.
Oh, well, Sean could have drove me,
I
but
drove
it meant
you
he had
home
to
once,
turn-
Spencer.
Oh, that's right, you did.
I did, and I drove Patrick home as well.
I'm genuinely upset that like we didn't find out we all live like about 25 minutes away from each other roughly,
Yeah.
and we didn't find this out until like the last 3 months of like last year.
I
and we
found
were
out
like,
in February, and I kept
Yeah.
that to myself.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. We live quite close to each other. Like, I'm kind of like in the middle of you guys.
I would say just
Like,
far
I'm
enough
stuck
away,
in the
not
middle.
close.
Like, I'm in the middle, and then I go 15, 20 minutes one way, and I'm at Patrick, and then I go 15, 20 minutes the other way, and I go to Spencer.
Oh yeah.
So, like, it's pretty cool. I'm like the central hub, and it's great for podcasting, even though we're doing it over Discord, because we're all pretty lazy.
Oh.
Well, I'm lazy.
but also I might have the virus.
Yeah, he might
so-
have COVID.
Bro, it doesn't exist.
But-
I hate to tell you this.
It doesn't exist.
Hey,
and
No, don't say that. Don't
Take
say
it from
that.
someone who had it. All right, it doesn't exist.
All right.
It's a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid scheme. It's to make money.
Oh no,
All
no,
right,
that sucked having it.
Oh yeah,
Can we just quickly talk about when we were supposed to actually record this?
Yeah, we were supposed to record this like back in
in
January.
like the first week of this, in the first week of January, because if you go to my second Fortnite video, at the very end of the video, I say I make a couple of quick announcements for the end of like the last minute of the video. You can just skip to it, but I say there will be a sixth Back Home in Alabama, which is a series I do with Tom, as I said, but I also say, and I'll be on the Movie Scoops podcast. And I uploaded that video on December 29th, 2021.
Yeah,
like
that
the day of New Year's, or like a couple days before New
Well,
Year's.
we just kept having like scheduling conflicts. It was like we were ready
someone
to go.
Someone else had
and
COVID,
then-
or someone had work.
Like,
yeah.
I think who got COVID first? Was it you, Spencer, or was it like my family
Spencer.
member?
It was Spencer, and
It
then
was Spencer, and then it
one
was
of your
my
family members.
member.
No, I'm pretty
And
sure it's
then-
Sean.
And then it was
It was
me.
Sean, then
Now it's
me,
me.
then Patrick. So yeah, we passed
No,
it down.
I
Yeah.
didn't get COVID. I'm still
I
lucky.
mean, how could you? It doesn't exist. Anyway.
I'm God's favorite.
Don't say
Anyway-
that. Stop
anyway,
saying that.
yeah.
Bleep them out.
Yeah.
Bleep them out.
But
Alright,
much like this podcast getting delayed, another movie was delayed for about a year or so. The Batman.
Yeah, the Batman.
Spoiler alert. We're going full in depth.
We're going in. Oh wait,
We're going on a deep dive.
Before we get into, we have like a list of movies and TV shows we've watched that we're just gonna like go through and everything. Massive spoiler warning. Like we're not gonna do non-spoilers and spoilers like I normally do. We're going flat out. We're gonna talk about everything. If you don't like it, go away, watch stuff.
Go watch all the movies we're gonna talk about.
Go watch all the movies.
Even if we don't even get around to talking talking about them, just
Sean,
go watch
I'm
them.
too lazy
this is
to
the
do a
marketing
list.
thing that you're falling through on. You have to tell them, okay, there's a spoiler for Batman. If you haven't seen it, go watch it and then immediately come back to this podcast.
Oh, 100%.
Go and watch it in VMAX. Waste like $50 on a ticket,
driving?
and then come back.
Are you driving right now? Pause the podcast, drive to your local theater, get a movie ticket. It's probably always showing right now.
It is. It's on for a 3-hour movie. It's on a lot.
Yeah.
All right, that's your spoiler warning, and let's get into it. So, the Batman, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the worst movie. No, I'm kidding. I love this movie.
Oh,
I've seen.
gosh.
I
It's amazing, right?
I involuntarily watched it 3 times. So the first time I watched it with my dad on like the Friday night it came out, and I was like, okay, that was great. And then on the next Saturday was my friend's birthday,
Yeah.
and I was under the impression, because in the group chat he made for, it's just a group chat we have just for our friend group, but I was under the impression we were going to be watching Uncharted because everyone was talking about how good the new Uncharted film looks. So I pick everyone up and we head to the theater, right? And we get there and we're about to buy tickets and I'm about to select Uncharted and everyone's like, whoa, what are you doing? And I'm like, aren't we watching Uncharted? And he's like, no, we're watching the Batman. And I was like, okay, I know what I'm getting into, but these guys, like, no one knew that I had seen it yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so this is gonna be a test of fate for me, because if this is good watching on a second time, then this is gonna be a pretty good, like, bloody movie. Because there are sometimes you watch a movie, and you're like, you know what, that was good.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't think I'd ever watch that again. The first time I came out of the theater watching the Batman, 2022, the Batman with my dad, I was like, that was good, but I don't think I'm ever gonna watch that again. Like, that was a great experience. I had a good movie going experience. You know, the sound, the music, the camera work, like the hints in the story, like everything. It's so majestic. There's no other word for it. It's just perfect. It's like, for a movie that's been stuck on the line for so long, it's so good. And like
I kind of feel
movies,
that way. Like when I go see a movie, like I felt this way with Spider-Man. Like I went to go see the movie and I was blown away. I thought it was amazing, and then I went to go see it again, like a few more times, like 2 or 3 more times, and it wasn't as good as, like, you could see the flaws in the story and everything. And I feel like, especially this is a very apparent with Spider-Man, that it was all built up upon nostalgia and everything. And then you go and see the movie and it blows you away. And then you go back and you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen here and everything. And then, but I never felt that way about the Batman. I've seen the Batman probably 3 times now. I saw it on the Wednesday, the week it came out, like the day it came out. I saw it on the Wednesday. I saw it the Wednesday night. And then I saw it again that Friday. And then I saw it again last Thursday. And even though there are there are a few little bits in it that don't make a lot of sense,
Easy.
I thought it was amazing.
Name the flaws. Challenge.
Okay, I did have some. Let me find the list. There's not many.
Is this a pen and paper list that you had out in the theater?
Yes. No, so
some people actually do that. Some
one of the things was
do that.
as we went to film school, and that's where like we all have like the same sort of knowledge.
We all kind of
And
gelled.
something that like didn't feel right to me. It's the scene where they're out and where the Batmobile gets introduced, and Batman and Catwoman are at the car and everything, and Batman gets knocked down. We don't see Batman again until he's at the car. And I feel like
he's in it.
I feel like what was missing there was Catwoman looking over. He's on the ground, and then she looks over again, and he's gone. because it was just like
we needed that disappearing.
we needed
yeah.
the disappearing, and so when the car started up, I thought it was a remote control. I thought it was like,
and he was just hiding underneath the car. He just fell behind. Yeah.
I saw like someone write online about the Batman that when he got in the car, he stalled it at the start. Like,
No, I thought that too. I thought
I thought he stalled it.
because
Batman can't drive
the way I explained to friends who hadn't seen the movie yet, a lot of people were like, so Batman, not Batman v Superman, Justice League, like the Joss Whedon cut, is like a really weird mesh of like comedy and like really dark and serious.
Yeah.
Is this like that at all? And I was like, no, it's more like Star Wars humor. And for those who aren't inclined, Star Wars humor refers to the original trilogy of Star Wars, where it's like a character will say a line and then it's not like what they're saying isn't funny. Like it's probably something mundane or something generic, right? Like, oh, my blaster isn't working. Well, then use it like this. Like what they're talking about isn't that funny, but it's how they're talking to each other that makes it funny.
Yeah.
And there's a good couple of moments in this film where it's like that, where it's like a police officer will say something or imply something, and then Batman will just be like, "Yeah, okay," and then like that's kind of funny because it's like this Bruce is like really young. Like this is probably
Like
the youngest incarnation of Bruce we've seen.
I'd probably say
and
he's
just
like
super awkward.
maybe 25 in this. I'm just trying to like account for training
what's his name?
with the League of Assassins.
Edward Cullen. What's his real life name?
Robert Pattinson. Rob-Bat-Batinbats.
Yeah, Battinson. He's
Battinson.
I think he's 35 in real life.
I don't think so. I think is he?
He's like 33, 34, 35.
He was about 20 when Twilight came out, I think, or he was 19. He was getting
He's
there.
35. Jeez Louise.
He looks good for 35.
No, do you know who looks
Jeez.
good? Andrew Garfield. He's 38.
He's basically dead.
Yeah. Being 40 isn't dead. Being 40 isn't dead.
No, it's just like you're so used to when people turn 40, they like start to look older and everything. And then when you see like these actors like Robert Pattinson and Andrew Garfield, you're like thinking, oh, they're probably minimum
Mid-20s, at least. Mid-20s.
No, minimum like 30, 31. And when you find out they're like almost 40, it blows your mind.
Well, they have this,
But,
they have this trick in Hollywood. You know Walt Disney?
Yeah, I know. I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Heard of
He's
him.
Cryogenically frozen under Disneyland, as we all know.
Yeah.
No, he's
I
not.
know, I've seen
He's
it.
got
In
I've seen it.
in between movies, Andrew Garfield.
He's a spider. He's like a spider.
Yeah, in between
he's a
Spider-Man
frozen head.
movies, in between those Spider-Man movies, he's just cryogenically frozen in his basement.
Yeah.
He needs to keep the youthful appearance.
The hidden tunnels. The hidden tunnels underneath Disneyland. There's actually more hidden tunnels, and that's where Walt Disney is. He's like a little spider. He's like in Batman. He's like in Batman Beyond, where
Best Batman.
Mr. Freeze
Bruce.
is like a spider.
Oh, he's just hooked up to the computer. Yeah.
So like coming into the Batman, like I kind of knew it was gonna be like amazing because there wasn't much like background drama with it apart from it being like pushed back and doing reshoots and whatnot, which is normal. But there wasn't like they're doing
Robert
heavy
Pattinson
reshoots.
did
They're
get
putting
COVID during filming, I believe.
Yeah, he did get COVID, yeah. But, like, there wasn't, like, let's say, for example, the Justice League, the Joss Whedon one, it was like, oh, it's getting pushed back. They need to do heavy reshoots. They're putting 50 million into reshoots.
It's because that's a completely different situation, though, Sean, because
no, I'm saying...
in that situation, it was Zack Snyder had a family emergency, so he couldn't continue directing the film he wanted to make.
That was a bad example. I'll go with Fan Four Stick. So
okay, yeah, that works better.
Fan Four Stick, Josh, like with the Josh Trank one, they filmed the movie and everything. They filmed it, and then they had to come back and do heavy reshoots. Like I think they sunk like 20-40 million into reshoots.
They they put an extra film's budget into just the reshoots.
Yeah, and they reshot it and everything, and that kind of like puts the back pedal, because I remember the trailer for Fan Stick came out, and then the next day it was like they have to do reshoots, and it was being pushed back, and we didn't get any of that with the Batman. And
with Fan
I knew,
I mean, at least they made a good movie in the end, right?
yeah. Wait, Fan Stick?
No, they didn't. You were mentally insane.
I love the beginning of that movie.
I have an opinion.
It is perfect.
I have an opinion.
The opening of that movie.
Fan Stick?
Yeah. When they're at the he's like what, like 16, 17 at a school fair, and this idiot kid is making what do you call them, the volcanoes, the volcanoes that go up and they go, like a volcano, and baking soda.
I've heard of a volcano.
And then baking soda
over in the corner that everyone spits at, you have what's his name in real?
Miles Teller,
a 35-year-old.
Basically a 35-year-old guy that was in War Dogs. What's his name again?
Miles Teller.
Yeah, Miles Teller. Yeah, Miles Teller in the other corner, and he's got this gadget that he's probably spent a couple months of his life devoting himself to, and it teleports things. And the reason he doesn't win the fair is because he can't bring it back. And
they tell him it's like, oh, you can't do magic tricks here. Like, even if that was magic, give him first place, bro.
Bro, it's not science.
That's
I hate to tell you this.
Insane.
It's magic. It's not science. It doesn't count. It's a disqualifier.
Yeah, I know, but like that's what they said in the film. They said, the guy said, like, you've done some like magic.
Disqualified, no magic tricks.
Yeah, magic tricks. But I've done an episode of of all the Fantastic Fours, including Fantastic Four 94. I think I called it, because I also did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I called it Once Upon a Time in the Fantastic Four. And
I love that fucking Hollywood movie. I'll get into that in a bit, maybe.
Yeah. I watched Fan Stick, and I think genuinely the first half is really good. I think it really set a tone for everything. It's just after they get their powers, it goes downhill. You
wanted a character drama. You didn't want a superhero movie.
Well, I wanted the superhero movie, but like I loved the build up. I loved how slow it was, because the Fantastic Four movie in 2004 was like, they've got their powers in the first 20 minutes. It was like, no, we're gonna build up Reed Richards. We're gonna, like, even though they didn't do it very well, and in retrospect, but like I can see what they were going for, like trying to build up each character and everything, but it just got messed. And then the second half, when they get their powers, is just like it feels so rushed. The ending in particular.
Well, that's probably where all the reshooting came in. We're just trying to get all
it
that.
It was. But I think the biggest sin of that whole movie, is introducing the main villain, Dr. Doom, like 20 minutes before the main credits. I think
that was a brave decision.
That was a very brave decision.
Not a good decision, a brave.
If you look at the history of Fox and Fantastic Four and everything, if you actually look into it, because I have.
Of course, they made Digimon.
Yeah. They, the whole entire point of the Fantastic Four making those movies was so the rights didn't go back to Disney. That's the only
hate
point.
That. It's so spiteful, but
like
I hate that it can't go back to Disney, but I like that they're spiteful about it.
Well, it already has, because Disney bought Fox.
Yeah, but that wasn't until years later.
Yeah, until recent. But still,
but like
that's changing.
With Fantastic Four 94. That's a big example, because
94. Which is that one again? That's the one that
it never got released.
Oh, it never got released.
So basically, this is a great story. I love it, and I've told it on this podcast before. So the rights to the Fantastic Four. So this is when Marvel was bankrupt, basically, and they were selling off all their properties and everything. They sold the Fantastic Four in like 1990, and then they had to make a movie by 1994, and so they brought on. You can watch this in a documentary on YouTube. It's called Doomed. They brought on a director called Roger Corman, and they filmed an entire movie for $1 million. So like they filmed an entire movie.
That is mentally insane. What?
So Roger Corman,
$1 million, not $1 billion, $1 million.
Roger Corman is He's famous for, I think, from memory, he did a lot of Canon films, like Canon, the people who did Superman
DVD
4
dump movies. Yeah.
Like, so he's very famous for making.
Are you talking about the camera company or the weapon?
No. Canon Films. They're the people who are famous for two things. They're famous for making Superman 4 and Swedish porn.
I'd be very excited to be behind one of those things, and it's not Superman. It's not the fourth Superman film.
But also Canon Films, I didn't learn this until recently, were going to be a producer on the James Cameron Spider-Man that they were going to make.
Was that?
But that went.
So that is real.
Is that the one that Michael Jackson wanted to be?
No.
No. That was the Sam Raimi.
That was the one that was rumored that Leonardo DiCaprio was going to star in.
Yeah. And then he turned it down, and then
it didn't get turned
down.
down.
After that.
What happened was there was a producer. So the rights for Spider-Man originally went to Canon, and then Canon sold.
They wanted to use they wanted name only, and they wanted to make a horror movie about someone who turns into a spider.
And then
that's what they wanted.
Then
Marvel was like, no, that's no.
So Canon sold the pictures. They sold the film rights to a company called Carolco, which was one of James Cameron's companies before he eventually made his own company. And they pitched, so pretty much the writer of they wrote an X-Men movie, and Stan Lee and this other guy went to pitch the X-Men movie to James Cameron, and the topic changed to Spider-Man. And James Cameron was like, I want to do a Spider-Man. And there is a script online. You can find it and read it. If you're like a audio learner like I am, like you just don't like reading, I would 100% suggest to go and listen to the Cancelled Movie Report, because they have two episodes, part 1, part 2, where they read through the script and they get voice actors to voice the characters.
Different, yeah.
But they get voice actors to voice the actors who were going to play those characters. So they got like someone to do Leonardo DiCaprio. They got someone to do the Mary Jane in that movie. And that script, I don't want to go into it right now because I want to get back to Fantastic Four, is insane.
Well, can we get back to Batman first?
I'll just get... what?
That's the only time anyone has ever said that they want to get back to Fantastic Four.
So, I'll just quickly go over the Fantastic Four story. So
Rip the Band-Aid
Roger
off.
Corman made the movie for $1 million, and then they were prepared to release the movie. They released trailers of it, and then it just got cancelled. Like literally, they just refused to release it. The company that were making the film, I forgot who it was, but the producer was Ari Avid, who.
Oh yeah, he was on the original trilogy.
He was on the Spider-Man and everything. He's very famous for being like one of the people who made
Spider-Man 3
made Marvel what it is, but also made Spider-Man 3 really bad.
You mean really good?
No, I mean really bad.
Is there a glitch? Am I?
Yeah.
Is it?
But
saying good?
But what happened was it went to Ari Arid, and he was like, nah, we're not doing this. And they pretty much removed every single copy of it and burnt it. It's rumored that they burnt all copies. There is a copy on YouTube that you can watch, but it's not the final version. And
like a rough cut. Yeah. It's probably the editor put it in like a briefcase somewhere, and then like lost the briefcase like under his stairs or something.
Yeah.
And then he found it again. He's like, this is considered lost media. I'm going to put this on the net.
But it's insane because they didn't tell the actors.
What year was this? Like
1994.
Yeah, they were probably still saying put it on the net back then. Yeah.
They.
No. But when he found it like 10 years later or whatever, he was probably like, "Oh, I can sell this."
But what's insane about that is that they didn't tell the actors that they were canceling the movie.
Was it mid-production?
No. They finished it. This was a finished movie.
Very end.
They finished the movie. They filmed it, and the actors. Well, what the actors did was they went to like Comic-Cons and like stuff to advertise it because the company wasn't advertising
promoting
it.
the movie. Yeah,
They were promoting the movie, and the way that they found out the movie got cancelled was that they got a cease and desist letter from the company saying you cannot promote this anymore because it's got cancelled.
Talk about the movie anymore. Yeah,
That's my favorite way that I could ever be told that a movie that I made is not coming out. Is months after filming, I get a cease and desist. Not a phone call. Jesus Christ.
All right. Let's get back to the Batman.
Back to Batman.
So, what I was gonna say about the Batman was, even if the movie was terrible, like if it was absolute trash, I knew it was gonna look amazing because it's done by the cinematographer. I can't remember his name, but the cinematographer who did Dune as well as Blade Runner.
Oh fuck! What was his name?
Wait, I'll just search up his name quickly. But he, like, literally, I knew for, like, going into this movie, even if it was incomprehensible, the cinematography was going to be amazing.
I before the movie even came out, when it was just tidbits and whatever.
Yeah.
When it was announced that Matt Reeves was directing this, I was like, okay, this is immediately going to be like probably one of the best incarnations of Batman ever. And let me explain. So in like 2012 or 2014, I was trying to become a screenwriter, but I'm really bad at story structuring and writing. Yes, I wanted to be a filmmaker super bad as a small child. So I literally tried everything. I wanted to be an actor. I sucked at acting, so I was like, okay, let me try like 7 other different things. And I did finally get to it. I'm good at editing, or at least music video editing, so I'm kind of there. But yeah, I wanted to be a writer. I was like, if I can get this done, I'll be good. Turns out I suck at writing. But Matt Reeves had a TED talk, or I think a segment on something, and he talked about writing, introducing characters, and fleshing them out to the real world. And then as soon as I heard that Matt Reeves was going to direct a Batman film, I was like, this guy has it like down packed. He will know what he's doing, because if he still believes what he preached in that TED talk, he can do anything.
Yeah.
He can do anything.
100%.
And guess what? He can do anything.
Yeah.
This man, like,
I
watched the Planet of the Apes movies when they were coming out. I thought they were generic and fine. I knew he was doing them. I knew it was the same person, but I was like, there's a disconnect here. I knew that Planet of the Apes was based on a movie from the 70s, but I was like, there's a disconnect here. Like, something's not right.
And Tim Burton did a reboot back in 2006 that we don't talk about.
Bruh.
Yeah, but I loved the realism in this movie. I feel like it was more based in reality than the Dark Knight trilogy. And the reason why I say that, I think for example, is the suit that he wears. The
armor.
The bat suit that he wears feels as if like he's constantly adding on to it. Like he's like, I need to add, like, oh, I got stabbed. Like I could have got stabbed here.
There's patches everywhere.
Put, like, and also, here. I need a flare here.
I love all the cuts and smudge marks on his mask.
Oh
if you look on his eyelid,
if
you look on his nose piece, there's like 2 cuts going opposite ways. So it's like, okay, in my brain, my stupid little goblin brain, this is how it played out. Batman was trying to stop a mugging, and some jerkhead, some loony with a knife tried stabbing him in the face and ended up getting his nose and almost his eye. You know, so like just those little details to show he's rough around the edges, but he's willing to fight it all.
I love throughout the film you could see like the bullet holes in his suit as well, like where the bullets had ricocheted off. They weren't just like Ben Affleck's or Christian Bale's, where it was like the bullets would
Did nothing.
would do nothing and just ricochet off. It was like, no,
It
this
would
does
literally be
damage.
bulletproof. But this suit is far more realistic. It's more bullet resistant
Yeah.
and not bulletproof.
Okay,
Yeah.
Spencer, I'm gonna throw this to you. What did you think of the mystery element of the film? Like that
Red Law.
genre
Yeah.
of adding that in.
Well,
The noir.
I think that it's something that Batman movies have been sorely lacking is mystery because he is a detective.
100%
He said
agree.
it, boys. He said it. Give him a round of applause. He knows what he's talking about. Give him a round of
What
applause.
did I say?
Sorry, I'm high.
He
I'm high.
didn't
Wait,
say
wait,
anything.
wait.
He didn't say anything
Wait.
but the truth.
Wait, clean cut. And we're back.
Wait, do you want to do a clean cut for?
Don't worry about it.
All right, yeah. So, keep going, Spencer.
Yeah. So the mystery element, I really enjoyed it because it's just something that I haven't really seen in a Batman movie so much. The Nolan movies were more action-packed, and they had a lot of plot points and great writing and great story and
Yeah.
all that, but they weren't just about the mystery, which this film is. I mean, I'm looking at the poster for the movie, and it just has a giant question mark on it.
Yeah.
I was sorely disappointed when the Riddler was unmasked and it was not Jim Carrey. I was very.
Why did you want him to come back?
He was so
What?
charismatic.
No,
Have
he
you seen the
wasn't.
Truman
He was
Show?
a loony in Batman. Was it Batman Forever?
Batman Forever.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah, he was-
seen the
I've-
Truman Show?
I loved.
I watched all the Tim Burton ones last year, and I was like, okay, Batman and Robin. That's like a C minus, but this is like an E. This is an E. All right, it like school grade. This is like the worst movie I've ever seen.
Not only are
Yeah.
you wrong, but you're
And
an idiot.
I usually like Jim Carrey movies. I love The Mask.
I feel like
and
I feel like
yeah.
with Jim Carrey, I feel like he was extremely comic book accurate at that point. He was more accurate to the 60s series than anything else. But I feel like at that point in the 90s, 80s, 2000s, at that point, the character of the Riddler changed. It wasn't like he wasn't this. Well, Hush came out, yeah, but it wasn't primarily about a guy like a guy who tells riddles and he's like basically the Joker, but instead of laughing, he does riddles, like pretty much that. But he becomes more of like a psychological villain. Like he doesn't have the capacity to beat up Batman, but he has the ability to keep him on his toes. And I really like that. And I like exactly what Spencer said. Like, with the mystery element, it's completely lacking because that's such a big element of the character. Like, he's the world's greatest detective in the comic books. And in pretty much all the Arkham games? Wait, is it all the...
And we're back.
Okay,
Sorry about
we're
that. Yeah.
We
had some technical issues.
Our
but
recording
we
artist
went for an
Craig
ad
had
break.
to
We
take
went
a
for
phone
an
call,
ad
so
break, 100%. So we... Okay.
Does
So
that just
with the
mean we
Arkham
watched an ad?
games... What?
Does that mean we watched an ad? That's our ad break because they're not getting an ad at that point, right?
Oh no, we went on a donut and coffee break.
Okay.
I don't know.
So,
I see.
so with let's get back on track. So the Arkham series, like I feel like the Arkham series, especially, well, I mean, I feel like this is done to death. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do Arkham Origins because I feel like that's the most underrated one. I feel
You
like
mean
Arkham Origins.
underplayed?
What?
You mean underplayed?
Underplayed, yeah. Well, no, I feel like it's underrated because people consider it to be the worst.
It's not that people consider it to be the worst. It's that
It's like a solid game trilogy.
it was never really marketed as a part of the trilogy, or like
True.
in line with the rest of the trilogy because you
That's
have
fair.
Arkham Asylum, great game,
Yeah.
had like GOTYs,
And then Arkham Knight.
and then you have Arkham City, which was 10 times as advertised, and you have Arkham Knight, which was
Yeah.
just on a different level entirely. And then you got Arkham Origins. Yeah, I
It
think I
just
saw
kind of
you.
exists.
But
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah, I
like
saw a
I feel like
YouTube
with
video of how that
Arkham
works.
Origins, it told like that story of the assassins and everything is completely new. Like there's nothing like that in the comic books. There's no storyline where Black Mask, we are doing spoilers. Black Mask / the Joker hires a bunch of goons to kill Batman. Like that's not a storyline in a one night sort of thing.
Is
Like
that a spoiler?
we said we're gonna do
Well,
spoilers.
technically yes and no, because the DLCs, all the DLC packs when you go to buy them, spoil the fact that it's the Joker. So
Yeah.
it still is that if you, because I was so mad. I was on Steam and I wanted to buy like the full bundle of all the games, right? And I was reading through it to make sure I wasn't getting chipped or anything. And I was reading through it, and literally the description tag of the DLC pack for Origin spoils the game, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why? I like
But
you've got to think about the outside. Like I didn't know anything going into these games except like they had high rated for like action and like murder mystery. It was like, what if Uncharted was a Batman game? That's
Yeah.
all I knew. But it's like the DLC description just flat out spoils the game for me. So I'm like, cool, great. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
but
drop $60 on something I
felt
don't
like
care
I
now.
felt like with
I'm
Origins.
I'm not blaming the company. I'm blaming. I'm gonna blame Patrick. This is what you get for fucking
Yeah.
reading, dude.
What do you mean? I want to make
Okay,
sure I'm not getting
okay.
gypped and the stuff that are in the DLC
let's
packs
get back
actually
on
give me
track. Let's
story
get back.
options or not.
Let's get back on track.
We're talking about Batman. This is more on track than talking about.
I feel like with
Fantastic.
Arkham Origins, it told a really good. It really. I feel like with all the Arkham games, they maybe not really Arkham Asylum, but they lean into that mystery element of him detecting and everything, and they do an amazing job with it. But it's never really seen on screen, and I feel like they did such a really good job in this one, where the mystery element of it wasn't so easy that it's so obvious in the end. But like they had little bits everywhere where like it was done very well.
I'll
I
say this.
think
I was caught off guard at the end of the movie when they revealed that the villain was Riddler, because I had no idea going into the movie.
Well, personally, I knew it was going to be Riddler, but
You saw the marketing and the poster, and literally
It was in the
first 20
marketing and the
minutes of the
posters
movie.
and the trailers. He calls himself the Riddler throughout the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just kind of missed that.
But do you know what? Do you know what was a missed opportunity? But
Jim
I'm
Carrey.
pretty sure. Well, Jim Carrey. Well, I'm pretty sure that they're going to do it in the future. So I don't know if you saw it, but I did. During the like the explanation.
Canon company to film it.
No. During like the like when the Riddler tried to blow up Bruce Wayne, and then he sent a video out basically explaining why everyone like why the Waynes are terrible, and they say he killed a reporter, and that reporter's last name was Elliot, and be like Hush, exactly, Thomas Elliot, and I feel like that would have been because that would have been a great twist if it wasn't built up at all. It probably would have been better.
I think it was just a subtle hint, like, hey people paying attention and have read Hush.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
out.
they literally put up Hush on the screen.
Well, no, but it has like a bunch of like exclamation marks around it. So I think it's more like, hey, these are my big plans. Don't tell nobody.
That's what it was. But what I thought it was, I felt like, because they did change the Riddler's name to Edward Nashton instead of Edward Nigma, but I feel like if you made him Thomas Elliot, it would have made sense. But they might be saving Thomas Elliot for another movie because that's a
they might just not even do it. Yeah,
well, I reckon they will because that's a good story to tell, like a childhood friend of Bruce Wayne and everything. Like I feel like that's good, but it needs to be built up upon.
If they were going for a childhood friend kind of route, they should have laid the seeds in this movie.
Yeah,
100%.
like they. Yeah.
I don't want them to just like do the thing where they go in the next movie like, hey, do you remember your childhood friend?
Oh, like
because
in
that's what they did in
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2. It was like, hey Harry, what's up? And it's like, wait,
me,
but Harry
best
Osborn
friend.
hasn't been established in this universe yet. What? It was it was all about Peter, Gwen, and Connor.
It was in
Like
the background,
Harry
these
wasn't in the
discussed
last
briefly.
one, nor was he hinted to, except for the fact that Oscorp is a company that exists.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. Like, your best friend is a billionaire, right? And you're living
Yeah.
in poverty with your aunt.
All right, let's move on to Spider-Man. Actually, I
Please
feel
have
like
some money.
let's move on. Let's.
I want to make a quick point about the Batman before you move on.
All right,
Fully.
all right.
We're doing the
Well,
Batman.
what's
I-
your point on the Batman?
I literally have one problem with this movie. One.
Okay, let me
And
tell you why you're wrong.
Okay, let me say the problem first so you can hit me.
Let me
Alright.
let you save your breath. You're wrong, and it's a great movie.
No, but
Absolute facts.
it's where Selena Kyle, Catwoman, says, my mother was murdered, she was strangled to death. And then like at the very end of the movie, Falcone has the pool stick and he's like, I'm gonna strangle you like your mother. I felt like, okay, you don't need to explain that. I think him doing this, the action alone, explains everything.
like your mother. You're
Yeah, it's like my own flesh and blood. It's like I feel like him doing this to his own daughter to begin with explains enough that he did it to her mum.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel
Wow.
like it needed
Also-
to be said
Got him.
aloud.
Also, John Turturro as Carmine
Perfect.
Falcone,
Perfect.
amazing.
I can't bridge the gap between his Transformers character
Yeah,
and
that's
anything he
exactly-
does.
Or,
I know, I
every time I
completely-
saw him on screen, I just
was-
kept
I was
seeing him in a
waiting for him to-
G-string in
Yeah.
Transformers 2.
I was
It's
waiting
in
for
my
him to
mind.
pull out his do whatever the fuck I want and get away with a badge.
Spencer was waiting Bumblebee to show up and start pissing on him.
Oh
No.
yeah.
No,
Hey,
what
hey, hey, hey.
what I was waiting for is him to come out as his character from The Big Lebowski and
Oh.
start washing up some bowling balls.
That would be funny.
That would have been
Alright.
funny.
Alright, let's-
That would have been a funny reference if, like, in his little like mafia hangout,
Oh,
they
he had
just
like
had
a
like
mini bowling
arena.
ball
They
instead
had,
of
like a bowling ball, or like even on his desk, he just has like a bowling ball,
or like a bowling
like-
trophy in the background somewhere on one of the shelves.
like the mafia has like a bowling team. And the Penguin is the Penguin sucks.
I'm pretty sure that's a side plot in Sopranos.
It is. But
Wait, is that real? I'm saying that's a joke. What the heck?
I'm pretty sure it is. But imagine if Carmine's just like, hey, Batman, I just
Go
need to
bowling.
I want to
Nico,
talk to you
cousin, let's
tonight,
go
but the
bowling."
boys and I are going to go play some
impressions from
bowling.
all
You
of
know,
you.
we want to get the championship to win 2 years in a row. You know.
Jesus Christ. All right.
And then he strangles Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
Hey, let me just strangle my daughter real
I should have
quick.
killed you like I killed your mother.
I should have
Yeah,
killed
that's
you like I
literally the
killed
only
your
problem I
mother.
had with that film. It's like you didn't have to say that aloud. Like there's a like
I
a
feel
lot
like
of that mystery, a lot of those mystery elements, like when Batman meets the Riddler in person and he's like Bruce Wayne, and then he goes on his tangent. It's
I
like,
love that.
oh, Riddler doesn't know that Batman is Bruce Wayne. He's just egging him on. So
Yeah.
like if he says it slowly, Batman will listen in. So like that's all he's doing. He doesn't like Riddler hasn't made that connection that Batman is Bruce Wayne. I
Yeah.
feel like that was done well enough that that same kind of logic could be applied to that scene where Falcone's strangling Selena, and it's
Yeah.
like you don't have
But-
to say it out loud. We get it. We already know.
But going back to that scene where Falcone strangles Selena, I feel like his first reaction, like Falcone finding out that his daughter has been working with him this entire time, would be why. Like I reckon he would have been so confused because early in the film he's like attracted to his daughter. Like he.
No, I think he knew. I think that's what that scene was. I thought that
Oh.
was
You
the
think
thing
that
that
he
was
knew? I
implying.
didn't think he knew. I thought it was like he's like a pimp. Like it felt like he was the pimp,
No,
and he was
from my
like,
perspective, it was like he was looking out for her. Like he's fully aware that that's his daughter, but he's ashamed of what he had to do to her mom. That he's like, I know if I get her tangled up in this mafia business, I'm gonna have to kill her. And
Yeah.
obviously, she does eventually get messed up in it, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna have to kill you then. Like
All
that
right.
was my perspective.
All right, let's move on.
Let's
Let's
move on to
move on to
Spider-Man No Way
Spider-Man.
Home.
All right.
Before we move on,
Uh-oh.
just out of 10.
Oh no, we don't need to do it out of 10s. Nah.
Oh wait,
Okay,
out of 10?
5.
Out of 10? All right.
Yeah,
Out of 10?
All right.
I've already given this out of 10 on my Instagram.
Yeah,
But
and it's wrong.
after a
Just kidding.
second watch, I kind of ranked it a little too high. I gave it a 9.8 out of 10 after my first watch. I'd probably give it a 9.2.
That's more reasonable.
That's more that's more reasonable, yes.
I would give it. I'd give it an 8, 8.5.
Okay. I'd agree with Spencer,
Rather
8.5.
than a rating, is it better than The Dark Knight?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely,
I'll tell you why.
freaking.
I'll tell you why. I
Yeah.
prefer The Dark Knight Rises. If you were
I
asking me which one is better between The Dark Knight Rises and The Batman, 50-50, I'd choose the other one.
I like The Dark
he-
Knight Rises. I never realized why it got hate. I think it's a
Because it
fun
was just a
movie.
bit bland compared to the other two.
Yeah.
Like,
All right.
Batman Begins is alright, but it's the script is a,
shut up.
okay.
No,
Alright, let's go.
we're moving on.
Okay. Go to Spider-Man. Cut to Spider-Man.
All right,
Spider-Man.
we're going to Spider-Man. Okay.
What was your rating, Patrick?
I said 8.5 as well.
Okay.
Okay, Spider-Man.
Which one?
I hated
No
it.
Way Home.
No, I'm kidding.
No Way Home. All right. So No Way Home, guys. What did you go and see it opening night?
No,
Or-
I saw it a
5 days
couple
after.
of days. I saw it like a week before Christmas.
Yeah, I saw it opening night because I just knew, especially with that movie in particular, that the internet wasn't gonna give you like a spoiler-free week.
Yeah.
As soon as it came out, it was out, and you would find everything. And as I said before, first time watching it,
anything? Were you spoiled going into it with anything?
I wasn't necessarily spoiled. Doing this podcast and having the information that I get on a daily basis on Instagram and Facebook of just getting news and whatnot of this person's probably going to be in Spider-Man and this person's probably going to be on Spider-Man. I wasn't necessarily spoiled. I did get surprised in it, with certain characters coming back and everything. But I also wasn't surprised because I did read, Charlie Cox is possibly coming back to play Daredevil. Oh, I did read Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield was coming back. I did read that, and it was heavily rumored for a while. So it was I didn't get spoiled, but also I didn't get to sit there and be surprised.
When I went to see it, I literally 3 hours before I went to see it with that same group of friends I watched Batman with, I got an Instagram post in my feed that was, I got a tweet, that was Charlie Cox, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield are here. But except that tweet was from a shitpost account, so I was like, they're literally just doing this for a giggle. And then I watched it, and I was like, okay, no, Charlie Cox made a return as Matt Murdock. So now the other two have to happen. So I was a little bit mad that because in my head before I watched it, I was like, they'll bring back all the other villains, but they won't bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. They're not that brave. But boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, 100% I agree with you.
Did we say spoilers? Did we say?
Yeah, we said spoilers at the very
beginning. 3
beginning.
months.
We said spoilers at the very beginning.
No, but we didn't say what we were gonna spoil though.
I'll put a list in the description.
Oh yeah, just put a disclaimer. We'll be spoiling the Batman, a little bit of Batman Beyond, Spider-Man No Way Home, Batman
and
Arkham Knight.
A whole bunch of stuff.
The movie.
But with Spider-Man in particular, after a rewatch, there are a lot of plot holes. So one that I noticed particular, and I feel like this is a big part of that whole memory wiping idea in it, is that we have technology, and it's not explained. It's not explained if the Doctor Strange magic affects technology. When you look at what's his face, J. Jonah Jameson, his whole thing is online. His whole thing is on YouTube, releasing videos. Oh, Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
He's Joe
Joe
Rogan.
Rogan. Peter Parker's
that.
Spider-Man. Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
I love that so fucking much.
What?
J. Jonah Jameson is portrayed as the Joe Rogan of the MCU.
Yeah. Well, how else are you gonna do it? How else are you gonna do it?
Peter Parker on the podcast and they start smoking weed.
Yeah.
But
I need stories of Spider-Man.
I need the stories of Spider-Man. What are you?
Oh,
Are you bitten by a spider or were you born with these powers? But I feel like it was just
Wait,
like
wasn't that something James Cameron was gonna do in his version? He was gonna make Peter a mutant, not a radioactive kid.
no, he was bitten by a spider, but
Okay,
like,
that was still in there. Okay.
he was like he wasn't like a mutant, but like he was bitten by a spider. I'm trying to remember the story. He like had the powers, but then he became like a circus act, if that makes sense. Like he made it rather than him like becoming like a wrestler and then
He
wrestling.
became
one
a
match.
member of the Graysons.
No, sort of. He basically was like on talk shows and everything before he was Spider-Man, and then like he
Did
got
they know who he was?
no,
Like, did they know there was Peter Parker?
no.
No. Okay.
He wore like the black suit.
Wait, he
Venom?
starts with the Venom suit.
No. He wore like a
Oh, a black
Peter Parker.
leotard with the white
yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
Okay, something that looked like the Venom suit.
Yeah. Well, it was
Actually,
more like
speaking of which, I've been trying to do a video on the history of the black suit, but anyways,
yeah, but
Cut that.
in
And
this
we're back.
and we're
like
back.
it's with this like whole idea of technology in the internet that there's a real plot hole. Like, does Doctor Strange magic just go through everyone's Google account and just delete YouTube
And he went
videos?
to look up Peter Parker, yeah.
Yeah, like because
I'm going to
it
link
was
you a 10-page thesis on the exact intricacies of magic.
like is it
From the
like
MCU.
it's
Yeah.
like have you guys seen Black Mirror?
No,
What episode?
only the regular mirrors.
White Christmas.
No.
Yes. Wait, maybe.
Okay, to spoil White Christmas, at the
Black Mirror
end,
episode.
yeah, Black Mirror episode of White Christmas. John
Oh.
Hamm in
Oh, yeah, I've seen this one.
yeah, he like I'm
I
not gonna
hate
go
this
through the
one.
whole story. I'm gonna
I
just
hate
go to
this
the
one.
end.
Good notes.
It's pretty crazy. At the end, he gets like a punishment, and his punishment basically is that he like how would you explain it, Spencer? Like he
Okay,
is
it's
like
basically okay. So they trap your digital conscious in a shell.
no,
and then
it's not
they
that. It's not
control-
that. He
No,
goes
that-
out
oh,
into
oh,
public.
Right.
He goes out into public, and he's like censored. Like he has like
No,
he's like
not censored. Everyone else is censored. Well, to everyone else, he's censored, but to him, everyone is censored. He can't see anyone. It's just TV
so like
static.
he can't talk to people. People can't talk to him. He's basically alone, but he's still living his life, and that's his punishment. Is that like what happens in all the videos of Spider-Man? Is there just like a massive censor, or did
Imagine that it's just
or
going to say like this video is not available in your region.
or did it get copyright struck by YouTube?
No, it got copyright struck by Disney.
Yeah, 100%. But
You
like
could
it was
do
just
that
like that sort of
today.
stuff. But can I just say, Willem Dafoe in this movie
Terrible,
so
just
good.
awful.
is so good.
Is it real? Is that
He's great. He's great.
okay?
No.
No, because I've heard takes like that where it's like, man, I know he's reprising his role as the Goblin, but this was by far his worst performance, and I was like, what do you mean?
But
What do you
I don't-
mean?
I don't know if you noticed this. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, but I posted something about Spider-Man 1 that's also in this movie. So in Spider-Man 1, when Norman Osborn is normal, he has like normal teeth. Like normal
Oh, I
teeth,
did see
straight
that.
teeth.
I did see that.
And yeah, and then when he is the Goblin, he has like that Willem Dafoe teeth where they're like
I love that.
not
By the
they're
way.
crooked.
He's got
and
British
everything.
teeth.
When he's a normal human being, he has normal teeth. And when he's the Goblin, a villain, he just has the teeth that Willem Dafoe has in his real
He
life.
has British teeth. He has yellow
Yeah.
British teeth. British.
And they do
Yellow
that in this
crooked teeth.
movie. They do it in this movie, and it's amazing. Like, it's such a subtle thing. It's like when people change their mannerisms. It's changing your teeth. It's such a subtle thing, but it
I
it
didn't
kinda
even notice
ties it all
until you just
together.
said it just then.
Like, honestly, Google it right now. It's insane. Just Google, like, Willem Dafoe Goblin and then find the two photos and you'll see the difference.
Yeah. Look up
It's great.
look up that and also look up meat spin.
No, don't do that. Cut that.
Look up lemon
And we're
pie.
back.
And
Okay.
we're back. After that clean cut, does anyone want to? I'll start. Just on a list of best Spider-Man, as in like best franchise to worst franchise. I would put Andrew Garfield above Tobey Maguire and then Tom Holland at the bottom. It's fierce competition. I love all of them, but the movies I grew up with, Tobey Maguire.
I love Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
I love Tobey Maguire because it's so iconic. And then I feel like Tom Holland is the right. I feel like if Tobey Maguire was the same age as Tom Holland when he was in the role, it would have been amazing. But I feel like that's the difference.
Yeah.
No, he was like nearly 30 when he starred in the first Spider-Man.
I've still got time. I can still make it.
Well, Tom Holland was like 20.
Incredible scene. I still got time.
Oh,
Yeah,
but,
so like I enjoyed. I think Tobey Maguire is. It's hard to be like who's the best Spider-Man and who's the best Peter Parker. It's like ranking Batman. Like you've got the three versions of Batman. You've got Bruce Wayne. You got Bruce Wayne in Batman mode. Then you got Batman, and they're
And then
three
you got Terry
different characters.
McGinnis. And then you've got any of the
No,
Robins that
Terry
end up
McGinnis
turning
can just
into.
go away.
What? No, Terry's the best one. I'm kidding. No,
Batman
but not
Beyond.
really. I like Terry.
If I was given the opportunity to write and direct a Batman movie, it would be a Batman Beyond.
Oh, 100. They were gonna make a Batman Beyond. The
They did.
Wachowskis
It's
were
not a
gonna do
cartoon
it.
movie.
The Wachowskis were gonna do it in the 2000s.
Oof. I don't know.
It never
if I
got
want
off
that
the
or not.
ground. Which
Would
is
I want
sad.
the Wachowskis to make a Batman Beyond movie?
Yeah,
I mean, they made The Matrix, and then they made the other Matrixes.
they made
Matrices.
And
they made their most
Animatrix.
famous movie, Speed Racer.
They
do
did
like that
too.
movie.
I forgot about that.
They
The
made
ending
Speed
of
Racer.
the end.
They
The
didn't make
final
Speed
race.
Racer, but they directed the live action Speed Racer from 2008, which is
Yeah.
super good, and I highly suggest anyone, unless
They
you're
film-
colorblind, to watch it.
They filmed the whole
can censor
movie
if you want.
on a
If you
green
have
screen.
epilepsy,
Oh, dude, no. Okay, fully honest. I have an epilepsy thing. Like, I'm super light sensitive, and I can't look at flickering lights for long. But honestly, every time I watch that movie, I've seen that movie about 50 times. I don't have a problem with it. But obviously, some people probably will, but I don't.
I would love it
For those of you
it's
who
like
can't
If
see,
If we go see it, if they have like a replay session on in the theater, and we all go to see it, and I'm just like in the chair foaming at the mouth.
for those of you who can't see, Spencer just put into the Discord chat that we're in just flashing lights while like a flashing lights
actually?
thing that
Oh
says
my
"shut
God,
up."
you did.
That
Do that to me.
as Patrick was saying, he's
it's
really light
topical. It's
sensitive.
topical.
I'm looking
Talking
at a Word document on a different tab.
Yeah, I've got one as well. All right. I think for the sake of time, let's move on and just talk
Did you
about
want the movie? Yep.
just movies that we've watched. So like, and if we've all watched the same movie, we can talk about it. So like, I've watched Kingsman. You guys seen Kingsman?
I have
No.
not. I plan on it.
It's on Disney Plus right now. Really good. Matt Reeves did a really good. Not Matt Reeves.
It's in the same universe as the Kingsman, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's
Yeah.
really
I
good.
know
It's
how Matt
And-
Reeves is like on this like baller running streak where winning streak where he's hitting them all out at once, isn't he?
I don't think Matt Reeves did
No,
Kingsman.
he didn't.
I'm-
I'm making fun of you. Don't worry, Sean.
Give me a second. I'm Goog. I know. What's his name? His name is Matthew Vaughn.
Close enough.
Oh, yeah, that's Vince Vaughn's brother.
Is that real? Is that real? That's
Yeah.
not real.
No, it's real.
Okay.
They're both
Um,
acting. Anyway, moving on.
I've seen. I went to go see Jackass Forever.
Oh, I did see that one. I
I
But-
haven't.
Jackass Forever was the first Jackass movie I've
No
ever seen in my
spoilers for
entire life.
Jackass, please.
Have you seen it?
Is there anything to Well, oh, I guess what they do. I guess what they
Uh,
do.
uh,
No,
uh,
I had seen the Jackass movies before.
Can I
Yeah.
just say,
the final
I
one.
was not prepared for this movie at all. I
I
went
was-
in
I was
not
prepared,
not expecting anything, and I saw about 100 penises this whole movie.
but it's all
Bruh.
from one guy. It's just
It's all
one guy.
from one guy.
it's
When
just-
he flashes the camera on.
It's just one unfortunate guy that keeps getting.
Pants.
Okay, so
No,
Spoiler for
it's not
Jackass.
it's not this one unfortunate guy. He volunteers. He's like, oh,
Okay.
we
I
have
didn't
an
mean
idea.
unfortunate by circumstance. I mean unfortunate
Oh yeah,
by
100%.
mentality.
But
It's
I just
unfortunate
wasn't
that
expecting
he
it.
chooses to do this.
But I only watched the movie for one reason. So like I'm a big UFC fan, and
Oh,
the current UFC heavyweight champion,
Yep.
Francis Ngannou,
uh-huh.
he holds the world record for the world's hardest punch. He hits as hard as like a Ford. I forgot what it's the car, but it's a Ford going like top speed hitting a person. That's how hard he hits. And they
Same.
got him to come and punch someone in the nuts.
It's the same
Oh.
guy.
No, I would not like that at all.
It's-
Full force. No.
That's why I went to go watch that movie, just to see
Because you
that.
just heard that tidbit and you're like, I hope this happens.
Yeah,
The final part. I'll say this. The final. What would you call them? Stunt.
stunt.
Yeah, the stunt. Was basically they locked this guy into a chair that
Oh my
electrocutes him
gosh.
anytime he tells a lie, and so they
Oh,
put
it's
him in a
okay.
room.
So it's a lie machine and a taser chair. Okay.
Yeah. And so they put him in there under the pretense that they're just going to ask him some questions and he's going to lie a bit, maybe, or tell the truth eventually. And it's a standard joke that's probably just going to be a cut between, but it's the final one. So you know something's up. So they get out of the room to get behind the equipment or whatever, and they start asking him some questions, and he jolts when he lies. But suddenly a panel on one of the walls opens up and a bear strolls through. And
Oh no,
before
but they've also poured honey and salmon all over him,
as soon as
like in his pants and everything.
as soon as they poured honey and then put salmon in his clothes, I was like, okay, so where's the bear?
And the bear came. Oh my gosh, I was so scared.
So they were giving him advice on the sideline, saying, okay, don't make any sudden movements, and then they just tase him.
Okay, did you guys see the new Scream?
No.
No.
It's good. It's good.
I watched the first Scream in my
What
film
scary
class
movie?
in high school, and I was like, okay, that was pretty good. And then like a couple days later, when it was the weekend, I went to my girlfriend's or she came over to mine. I can't remember, but I ended up being like, hey, I watched this. Do you want to watch the second one? Like, do you want to watch the second one, even though you don't know anything about the first one? And she's like, no, I've seen the first one. We can watch the second one. I was like, okay, cool.
And
and
the
we
second one's
watched it.
trash.
Yeah, it's not very good, and we were like, okay, well, that was kind of a piss poor effort.
It's kind of diminishing returns after the first one. This one's really good.
I think what the problem is because it's like the Austin Powers effect, where it's like
It's a
if you're going to make a parody of something or a satire of something, you need it to be consistently good. You can't just imagine if like the second
Yeah.
Austin Powers movie just turned into basically Skyfall.
Yeah,
Like
but
that
Love
would
that.
confuse everyone. Like, wait, but in the last movie, you were making fun of all these tropes, and you were being super on the nose about events playing out. But here you are doing the exact same things that you were making fun of, one movie ago. Like
Yeah,
it's
but-
like, yeah.
this new one, because I feel like what was making the other ones not work was the fact that the sequels in particular was that the same people were making the same mistakes over and over and over again, and this cast is like all new actors, apart from returning actors, and they learn from their mistakes. Like they know
New actors work, isn't it?
what.
They're all new actors except for the ones that aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't like they don't split up and go by themselves. They always go like the people who have been in the movie before, like Sydney and Gale and Dewey, they have been in this situation so many times that they know, if we need to split up, we all need to go together. And
Please tell me that there is a scene in the movie where they all sit down in a room and Sydney just addresses every one of the cast and says, all right, statistically, it's one of you. One of you is trying to kill, one or more of you is trying to kill all of us.
I'll let you know. And we're back.
And we're
Spencer.
Come on, go.
Spencer.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that, because that situation happens in this film, but not with Sydney. It happens with Dewey. So Dewey sits everyone down. So Sydney
like
is not. She's not in this film. What?
Like a sex ed. Like you have a sex ed class, and it's like statistically, 3 of you are going to get pregnant before you graduate.
Yeah, but Sydney isn't in this film very much. She comes in at the end, pretty much. Like in the last half an hour, she comes in, but Dewey's present in this entire film. Anyway, so she, so Dewey sits down the entire cast that is still alive and says, "Yo, one of you guys is the killer." They're like, "Why? It couldn't be me. Like, why would it ever be me?" And they're like, "That's exactly what the killer would say." And they're like, "Why would the killer say that?" And it's just like that.
That's the most airtight logic I've ever heard.
Yeah,
here's me as a detective, right? I walk into a room with a suspect. Actually, no, I walk into a room with a criminal because I'll address them as a criminal from the get-go, and I'll weave this elaborate tale of murder and mystery, and I say, "Is that what happened?" And if they say no, I would just say that's exactly what the killer would say, and I lock them up for life.
That's like that that video
regardless
of the
of who they are.
That's like that video meme of the guy who's doing the trial, and he's like, "So, are you the killer?" No. The killer says, "What? Got him! He said it." It's like that.
Believe it or not, that is a real law. It's the killer say what law.
But it's really good. It's really good.
Get them on recording. Legally, they have to be locked up.
Killer say what? What?
Huh?
So
got him, boys. We got him.
So in this film,
why didn't Batman do that? Why didn't Batman just do that to the Riddler?
That would have been fun.
Well, he didn't need to.
He just goes up to every citizen.
The Riddler flat out admits that he kills people. Like he's not like, "Oh well, he's not like Jigsaw where he's like, He's not like Jigsaw where he's like, "Well, I didn't actually kill them. You know, they killed themselves. I just helped them with it." It's like, no, you're a murderer.
No, you're wrong, and let me tell you why. It's a trap. They can easily get out. They're killing themselves.
I agree, but okay, back to Scream.
Love that heroin trap.
The heroin trap. That in Saw 2, gross.
Yeah.
In Scream, like the new one that they just released, I really like it. Well, one, because they have a new cast of characters that we're following and everything, and I don't know if you guys watch a lot of slashers, but when I watch a slasher, I kind of like in the first 5 minutes I'll put in pics so I'm like, these 2 people are the killers, and if I'm right, I'm like happy.
It's like a betting pool. Yeah.
It's like a betting game sort of thing. But I've watched so many slashes and so many like twists and turns that I know that like it's not the person who it's obvious, but it's also
always trying to do a misdirect. Yeah,
it's not even the person.
It's not the most likely. It's the second likely.
It's not even like, it's like the middle person. It's always the middle person. It's not the most likely. It's not the least likely. It's the middle person. It's the one. It's the bystander who's there. Who's like, they're just there.
Yeah.
It's always
they always
them.
happen to be at the right spot at the right time, but you would never question it.
It's not even like they're in the right place at the right time. Like sometimes they're just not even there, or they're at the party and you see them hanging out and everything, and then you find out it's them. Like in this film, I sat there and I was like, "Oh, who do I think it is? Oh, there's lots of people here. I'm not sure." And then I went, I think it's this person, and I think it's this person. And throughout the film, like, because I do it in a way where once I sink in my vote, it's stuck the entire time. I can't change it.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there the whole time going, oh, I've stuffed up. Like, I've picked the wrong people.
Yeah, because they start doing the leads out where it's like, yeah, you thought it was them, but guess what? It's actually kind of not. And then it gets to the end, it's like, okay, yeah, no, it was. It was.
Yeah,
We're just trying to
that's
pull one
exactly
over
what
you.
happened to me. It
Yeah.
was like,
They try and pull
it
one
was
over
them.
you, so you kind of have to reevaluate the movie as you're watching it. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you're your own little little scientist, your own little detective.
Even though I guessed it at the beginning, it's still great. Like, the twist in it's really good.
Mm.
All right.
Okay, moving on. Have you seen the trailer for Nope?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
No, I haven't.
Well, shit, there goes that.
I've
And
been...
and we're back. Hey, have you guys...
Okay. Have you guys seen Book of Boba?
Yeah,
No.
I have.
Don't... And we're back.
Don't
What?
spoil it.
Why'd you?
Move on.
We're not
Okay,
talking about Book
okay.
of Boba?
No,
I'll kill you.
okay. If Spencer doesn't want to, we don't have to.
Okay, we're not talking about Book of Boba. Have you guys seen Peacemaker?
Yes.
Have
God
no?
damn it.
Spencer.
No.
Spencer.
Have you guys
watch
seen Better Call
Peacemaker.
Saul?
Yes, I have seen Better Call Saul.
No.
I'm on season 2.
I don't like Breaking Bad.
Oh my gosh, Peacemaker
I
is
saw like the
really
three
good.
episodes and was like, this
let's
is too
go.
boring.
Peacemaker is really good.
I do want to
Yeah.
see it.
Okay, moving on. The next thing on my list is Euphoria.
Digimon the movie.
I've
Okay,
been
I'm-
avoiding
I'm-
Euphoria
I'm-
for like over 3 years now. I'm not about
was
to
about-
indulge in it.
I was about to say, let me speak for both Patrick and I when I say we have not seen it.
Okay, so
Thank you.
I watched the first season of Euphoria after Zendaya won the Grammy.
And this guy has something to say about Euphoria,
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
he?
she's in there. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
she won the Grammy for it. Not the Grammy, the Emmy. And
Yeah.
I watched it with the thought in mind of, oh, Zendaya is really good in this, and
Yeah.
I didn't expect half the shit that goes on in this show. Like,
Pretty
I think it
wild.
is.
it's
I think
very
it is.
wild. Like, you guys haven't seen it, so you probably just see this stuff online. But, like, in terms of, like, storytelling, the first season is a really well-crafted story of, like, just absolute messed up stuff that happens. Like, completely unrealistic messed up stuff that happens in high school. But I genuinely believe, apart from the second season, the first season's quite... It's... If I had to explain the first season to someone who hasn't seen it, it's like Game of Thrones. The first few seasons of Game of Thrones. Really good writing, but talks about pretty messed up stuff.
A school
It's
show.
talked to death that it's like, is it even that good, or is it just a bunch of people like in a circle jerk?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But I do firmly believe the first season is very good. The second season just finished probably about 2 weeks ago. And I wouldn't consider the second season good. I would consider it good. I wouldn't consider it amazing. It's just like each, because it was week by week episode. I believe that the first season they dropped all the episodes at once. But it was week by week, and like each episode kept ramping up to like a big finale, and then it just like was flat.
I feel like that's the problem with
Week by week
streaming going
shows.
back to week by week, is it's about having enough of that tension building that when you do get to that point where it's like, okay, this season's about to end, we're at like maximum hype right now. How do we send this off and have it meaningful? And it's a lot of these shows that are going back to week by week, like
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 1 and 2 did it phenomenally. A lot of people said that Clone Wars did that really well as well.
Clone Wars
like,
did it amazing. I wouldn't
but with book, but just to slightly tap into it for a second, you can block your ears if you want, Spencer. And anyone who is listening to the podcast right now,
Yeah,
Who doesn't
I just
wanna
need
listen
to
to talk about Book of
Craig are
Boba?
going to just be over here having a conversation.
the ending was stale, but it was a comfortable stale where it's like yeah, this ham sandwich is a bit dry, but I can still eat it. You know, like this is still a good ending
That's such
for
a
this
weird way to
show.
explain it. Yeah, it's a
No,
ham
but
sandwich, but
is
I
it
can
wrong?
still eat
Is it
it.
wrong?
I would not call it a ham sandwich. I would call it a dumpster fire.
No, it wasn't
I
that
think
messy. It wasn't that
I
messy.
think I think the whole show was just a side quest. And
Well,
I feel like
that was kind of, in my opinion, I thought that was the entire intention of
yeah, but I
of the
didn't
series.
I feel like it that's what the intention was, but I feel like
It
you have a character as sick as Boba Fett. You have so much to work with him. You can do flashbacks to when he was a bounty hunter and everything. And what do? Oh, we give up 2 episodes for The Mandalorian.
I think my expectations for new Star Wars has finally come to like like a flat line, because as when I was a kid, my uncle and my mum would always buy me Star Wars comic books and Star Wars novels, and they
Yeah,
would be literally the only books I would read growing up was Shadows of the Empire, The Bounty Hunter Rules, which is the book of which is like a Boba Fett trilogy, and like a bunch of other ones that I'd highly recommend, Darth Vader, Lords of the Sith, and a bunch of other ones I read growing up that are like super cool and really good. But it's like those hints of Boba, except for Dark Lord of the Sith, those hints of Boba that we do get in that trilogy. He's a
yeah,
completely different character. Like if you go on Audible, or if you just flat out find those books and you read through them or listen to it on Audible, not sponsored by the way, sorry Sean. If you go through them, you'll be like, okay, this incarnation of Boba is nothing like the ones that Disney is trying to set up.
yeah,
Because what happens with Boba in Legends is he becomes the Mandalore. He becomes Mandoa. He leads Mandalore back to its core. You know, he revives the Mandalorian religion because he is one of the last standing. Django was the last standing for a very long time. His master Jastamariel dies in his hands, and Django has all this pressure on him, and he's like, "Screw this! I'm becoming a bounty hunter. This is too much for me." But when he gets that opportunity to have Boba, he comes to his senses, and he's like, okay, I need to train Boba to be the Mandalorian that I'm not. I need this boy to be the savior of Mandalore. And he and as the Boba Fett stories go on, he does get to that point. He has a daughter. He's met other Mandalorians in the way. Tan Wee, the Kaminoan who raised him, is still alive. She's still kicking, and she helps him. He gets cancer from the Sarlacc pit, and she revives him. And it's a magnificent story that this Boba Fett has, and it's not what we're gonna get. And I feel like because there's so much pressure and storytelling on Boba as a character from Legends, that everyone's expectations are so set high in the air that when Book of Boba Fett came out and they were like, "Oh, he just wants to be a local crime lord of Tatooine, and he wants nothing to do with Mandalore." In my mind, I've come one with myself, and I've gone, that's not the Boba we're getting, because by the hints of Django that we've gotten in the comics recently, it doesn't seem like Django is the last Mandalorian. It feels more like Django is a Mandalorian, but it's also half and half, where it's like, no, maybe he just stole a Mandalorian's armor, or maybe he's a true Mandalorian, but he just wasn't born on Mandalore like the new Mandalorians, like Satine and uh Tar Vizsla. You know, it's all in the up in the air right now. But I feel like the expectations for Boba are it's so set high, because Legends was left on a giant, massive cliffhanger that everyone's just like, "Where's Boba? Is Boba going to become Mandalore?" It's like, no, we're going to make a new character called Din Djarin. And he like this is obviously what it's leading up to, is Din is going to be the Mandalore. He's not going to give it to Bo-Katan. He's going to be the Mandalore. We all know it's going to lead into that. Sorry, I'm a Star Wars nerd. I'll shut up for the rest of the
Okay.
episode.
We went from let's not talk about Boba Fett to talking about Boba Fett.
No, but I didn't talk about the show. I didn't spoil the show at all. I talked about Legends. I talked about Legends.
Here's what happened. We went on a tangent.
I went on a tangent. Patrick went on a tangent.
Yeah, Patrick went on a tangent, and we're back. It was all cut.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
don't cut that all. That's important.
Okay.
All cut.
Next on the list, have you guys seen Superman and Lois?
No.
No.
Would 100% recommend. It's really good. And it's only like 10 episodes the first season. I have stopped
10?
watching. I have stopped
As
watching.
I can count.
But Superman and Lois it's in the CW universe, but it's not made by CW. It's made by
So it's
HBO
good.
Max. Yeah, it's made by HBO Max. So it's really good. It's really good. The cinematography in it's really good, especially the first season.
I love CW shows because
Oh.
not
So
CW,
bad.
but I love the story
Right.
about CW shows just in general because the
One
first
of my
season is always
podcasts
well
on here,
caught
I
on.
went on like a 30-minute rant of how bad the CW is.
Yeah. Yep. Because the first season is always like, oh,
best
this is
season.
interesting. I can't wait to see where this goes. And it
And
goes
then it just
nowhere.
completely falls flat like an infant trying to learn how to walk.
Can I just talk about?
It's a dumpster fire every time. It's great.
Every single Flash
Do you mind if I
episode is
just beat
an
a
episode
dead
about-
horse real quick?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So
Go for it. You're
Riverdale.
preaching the choir right now, buddy.
All right, so Riverdale. Riverdale, the
seen it.
first
No.
season.
No, Sean, you're saying too much. You should have just said Riverdale and then cut yourself off right there.
Okay.
And we're back.
Can I? Okay. So Riverdale, the first season is, I would consider it a good show. I wouldn't consider it an amazing show. I consider it a good show. Good mystery, engaging characters, everything great. Second
And hot
season.
guys.
The second season is like, why is everyone so horny? Keep
Well,
it in your pants. Chill
the
out,
sec-
please.
I would consider that more the third season. The second season's like everyone's getting used to each other, another mystery, but the mystery wasn't really that good.
Yeah, they're getting used to
And-
each other's bodies.
And they went. I
Alright.
think the biggest mistake was that they went from having 12 episodes to 25 episodes, and I feel like that's the CW's problem, is that they have so many episodes a season.
They see the green and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna make as much as possible, as fast as possible, and
especially with
everyone's
like the
getting paycheck.
superhero TV shows, because there are so many bottle episodes in superhero TV shows every season. There's probably about 5.
every
mean,
6.
episode of Small.
I can't knock bottle episodes because it leads to my favorite episodes like Breaking Bad's Fly.
Oh, Breaking Bad's The Fly.
I-
But anyway, so Riverdale, like it went from that, and then it goes to the next season, which is about, I'm not kidding. So it starts off with a murder mystery, then goes to a serial killer, then the next season goes to about a cult and a weird drug game that is somewhat to do with another cult, and then the fourth season is about like continues on with the cult and then goes to an underground prison boxing scene for some reason, and the fifth season's about one of the characters becoming a vigilante, and then it goes to aliens for some reason. Like,
what? Here's my thoughts on long form media, like as in
TV shows.
that extend past one season. Have an end point. If you don't have
a great example of
there's
that
going to be no
is
continuity
Lost.
after like
Lost
no.
is
the third season.
No, I was going to say a great example of a show that had, from the first season, had everything planned out is Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot knew what it was going to do from the first season to the fourth season. They knew they had such a tight... Like, if you haven't seen Mr. Robot, have you guys seen Mr. Robot?
I've seen YouTube clips.
I would 100% suggest watching the show.
I would too, from my experience.
So, like, the first, like, I remember, so I started watching Mr. Robot, like, I watched the first season, and I was kind of watching it on and off. Like, I would watch, like, maybe, like, 20 minutes a day and whatnot, but, they pulled a twist out in the first season that blew my mind when I wasn't really paying attention to the show. I was like half paying attention, and they pulled a twist out, and it got me invested. I invested in that show, and it paid off. It's honestly amazing.
How much money do you make? Is this like a new crypto thing?
Yes, 100%.
Wait.
Moving on. Have you guys seen Pam and Tommy?
No. Who are they? Do I know them?
Good.
They go to a different school.
Pamela. Okay. To summarize Pam and Tommy, it's the true story about Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee's sex tape getting leaked.
I have seen that.
It's the one where Sebastian Stan has a talking penis.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. I've seen it though.
The fuck you just say to me? That's my F-bomb. That's my F-bomb. Leave it in. Leave it in. That's worth it.
So, Sebastian Stan in this in this show, it's 6 episodes. It's a mini series. He has a talking penis.
Don't we all?
Moving on.
Oh.
Okay. It's very weird. It's voiced by Pimento from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's in a bunch of things. I'm trying to think of like other things he's in. He's in Regular Show.
He's in the beginning of John Wick, chapter 3. He's the guy that goes TikTok with a fucking clock.
He's also in Big Mouth as Jay.
Yes, Big Mouth. We've all seen Big Mouth, right?
Yes.
No,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I refuse. I watched the first season with with my girlfriend, and then I refused to watch anything else. I was like,
You're both
yeah, that was
losers.
piss poor effort.
You both
Okay.
are losers. Me and Craig over here, not a single episode.
Okay. So during like probably about the last month, I've kind of so there was a show that I watched back in grade 8
No way.
called Attack on Titan.
Oh,
And
yeah. I'm caught up. I've read it.
I watched the first season when I was in grade 8 and I loved it. But the thing with Attack on Titan is it took so long for like seasons to come out. Like I remember season 2 took like
I had to hand draw each panel.
I know, but it took
Almost
like
that.
it took like season 2 like 2 years to come out. And
No, more than that's.
it took longer?
I think the number you're looking for is 6. 6 years.
Did it actually?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh my gosh. So that's even worse. So I didn't watch season
Maybe
2
4.
onwards like because it took so long to come out. And then I started hearing like stuff online about Attack on Titan season 4 part 1, the final season being amazing. Like it was like the last few episodes were getting like 9.9 on IMDb.
To be
like,
fair, with long form media like TV shows and stuff, anyone who's rating anything past the first season, they like the show. So it's inherently biased.
Yeah.
The
So
best you can do is what's the first episode's rating?
yeah. So then I decided to because I've got Foxtel and Foxtel has Attack on Titan seasons 1 to 3. I was like, oh, I'll rewatch the series. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then I watched season 4 part 1.
Different
it's
studio.
amazing. A different studio, but it's still amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The art style is beautiful.
Except it changes every season, but we
Here's
won't
the-
talk about that.
No, it doesn't. The first
behind the
3
scenes-
seasons
I
are
thought it was a
consistent.
different animation company every season,
No,
isn't it?
it's a different animation
It
company
was
every.
Witch Studio for the first 3 seasons, and then Mappa for the final 4th season. And,
Okay, I was
Mappa
under the
was
impression.
brought- They brought
I
in
was
the
under the
worst scripting.
impression. I was talking to a friend at work the other day, and the way he explained it was like, oh yeah, every single season is like by a different animation company because they were trying to get it out on like a good timeline, but they just
Nah.
ended up couldn't getting it done.
No,
Tell your
but-
friend that
Okay.
he's wrong, and then punch
So-
him.
so season
he's a
4
nice
part
bloke, though.
2 is still going at the moment. They're like finishing it up.
New episode just dropped today, or yesterday, or sometime.
Yeah, I watched it. So I think
That's
what
cool.
got me interested in watching this series again was there was a video on YouTube where it was like the height comparisons of Titans, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch the video.
I do that with
What
mechs.
exact video you're talking about?
Yeah,
Oh.
and then at the end they just had this freaking massive tall Titan that was Eren Yeager, and I was like, what? Like,
Okay,
is this is
we definitely did not give a spoiler warning for Attack on Titan. I know that
no,
much.
no. Sean said that he'll put a disclaimer and
Yeah.
time codes at the start of the podcast.
yeah, but
Okay.
Yeah.
a massive Titan, and I was like, what? That does like, and then I tried googling it, and there was no videos of it, and I was like, what? And then I watched the series, and then I
Absolutely.
understood. Oh, it hasn't happened yet. It's in the manga. Oh, like, and
It's in
happened.
the mango.
As of right now, it's happened in the anime because they're
Yes.
releasing it week by week, and I feel like even in like would you call the like I know Spencer, you're up to date. Would you call the latest few episodes where it's not focused on Zeke and Eren more
I mean, how
bubble
could it be?
episodes?
I would say the Zeke and Eren, what was it, 2 episodes? I would say
I'm
it's hard-
counting the
you
first
can't
the
really-
first 3 episodes where they're fighting the other Titans, like in the city
in this.
as Zeke and Eren, because the whole
right.
goal is for Eren to reach Zeke.
I don't think you can bring the phrase bottle episode into animation.
That's true, but I mean
think
more
that's
on the
crazy.
fact that like it went from the rumbling is happening to hey let's see what the people are reacting to the rumbling, not like Aaron's going after everyone. It's like oh well we've got the Malian people here and they're with Hanji and Levi and
Well,
Levi's still alive.
Here's the thing: they're walking a long way, and
Yeah,
that's boring and expensive.
that's true. That's true. But I'm very excited for this show.
I've read the entire thing.
Me too.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's great.
I know. The end. I'm very excited to see how they do the ending of this.
It's
But after I finished Attack on Titan, I watched One Punch Man.
oh, I know about that guy. He's the guy that punches things once, right?
Yeah.
I watched like the first 2 episodes and was just like, eh.
I thought it was really
Man.
really funny. So
You
like
suck.
One Punch Man, to summarize him, he's a guy who he's just a normal person, and then he like encountered like a villain. Like it's in a world where there's super villains and superheroes, and there was no superheroes around. And he just fought him,
It's not
and
even really,
he beat.
it's not even really villains. It's just monsters.
Yeah, monsters is probably a better way to summarize it. But he fights a bunch of he fights this like lobster man, and he beats him, but like he's so like messed up, and he vows to himself that he will become the most powerful hero there is, and he spent like 2 years training.
He spent
And-
3 years doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and a 10-kilometer
I was
run.
gonna get to that. I was gonna say like he like you expect when he's like I spent years training to get this strong.
He's
And
like,
he
no,
was
I
like,
just did like general fitness for like a year
he's like,
straight.
if you want to get this strong, I run 10 kilometers a day. I do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups a day.
It
And they're
works.
like,
That's
what
real
are you
life.
talking about?
Well,
That's so
what the show
easy.
doesn't get into, because it's spoiler territory, he also did
Yeah.
star jobs.
That's the final piece of the puzzle. That's
Yeah.
the little bit about the Pentagon.
You have
You
to do
know?
100
But I
star
think
jumps
I
every
think
day.
what makes the show funny for me is that Saitama, the main character, just does not get any recognition
Pussy.
for anything he does. Like literally, someone else takes the credit for it. So like, there's a character in the show called King, and King is
Saitama,
like
essentially.
he's like the number 3 hero in the world, and
Yeah.
he's considered the world's strongest man. And we find out that King doesn't have a power at all. He's just in the right place at the right time
Every
when
single time.
Saitama's
Every-
there.
Everyone just thinks that King has Saitama's powers.
Yeah, it's so funny, and he's like a scared little boy. Like what? Well, I wouldn't call him a scared little boy. I call him a weeb because he plays
I wouldn't
he
call him
plays
a
like
little boy, first of all. He's like
Yeah,
25.
yeah. It's a very funny show. But then after that, I know you have opinions on this, Patrick. I watched My Hero Academia.
Oh yeah, let's indulge. So
All right, can I just go in?
you go first. But I wanna give like a quick explanation of why I'm excited to talk about this. earlier this morning, Sean had asked us about topics, and he said he had watched My Hero Academia, and I was like, that shit's bad, and he's like, yeah, but I still like it, and I was like, all right, and then
So
we kind of indulged in it, and then Sean was like, all right, now stop talking. We need to talk
I
about something on the
don't.
podcast.
I don't like with My Hero Academia. It's not the fact that it's I don't think. Well, I think it's good. I definitely think it's overrated, but it's fun. But after I watched My Hero Academia right after I watched One Punch Man, and there's so many things similar in the two things. It's like you have an all powerful person who has super strength, and you see his struggles with everything. And I feel like, oh, I've just watched that with One Punch Man.
Well,
And
isn't One Punch Man supposed to be like a parody on
No,
Shoto? Isn't it?
No.
I thought it was.
basically the
it came out before it, didn't it?
I'll say this: the difference between My Hero
No, the
and
genre, like the strong man or strong
Oh yeah,
kid, strong boy,
Let's
like
say parody.
fighting anime and manga. I thought it was a parody of
No,
the genre.
no. If
Oh.
I will
if you
say this
watch it,
about
it's basically a character study. Is
Yeah.
what it's mostly.
yeah, but I will say this about My Hero Academia. I feel like because I watched it all straight.
Very loose character study.
I watched it all straight, and I felt by the 5th season, well, probably more the 4th and 5th season, that they were just recycling like old things in it. Like they were recycling old jokes. Like there's a character in it who has frog powers, and her superhero name is Froppy, and her I think her real name is like is she
Dude.
Dude,
yeah, I know, but
I only remember that because that was my grandma's name. Was
yeah,
Sue.
and
It's
no,
so
she has like a
Sue.
full name, but it ends with Sue, and the whole joke is that everyone keeps calling her by her full name. She goes, and then she will tell them to keep calling her Sue, and they literally have done that. I reckon in 5 seasons, probably about 50 times, like probably every second episode.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they do it so
funny
many times.
each time.
It's not
Yeah.
funny,
I
but
think-
they recycle old stuff that they've done in the series, like the League of Villains and
No, you just don't get it. It's a callback.
it's a callback that they do so many times.
and it's actually a call forward.
Yeah, it's a fucking 200 IQ callback. I don't blame you for not understanding it.
There was
It's very
one.
funny.
I watched one of the movies for My Hero Academia. I think
Here's
it's
where
called
you
The
went
Two
wrong.
Heroes.
You watched the movie.
Yeah, The Two Heroes, and in the final battle, Bakugo. Not Bakugo. I
Katsuki.
forgot what the main character that he gives it to Bakugo.
Midoriya.
I forgot what Midoriya. Midoriya gives Bakugo one for all, and they beat the main guy, the guy that they're fighting, and then at the end he's like, "Oh, you gave up one for all. That you've done messed up. You will not be a hero." And then they're just like. The plot comes in. They're like, "Oh, he fell asleep before he got one for all. Bakugo got one for all the way." So that means Midoriya still has it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
come on. Just give him a piece of your hair.
If you want to talk about bottle episode anime movies, everyone bottle episode.
100%.
It begins and ends with the same status quo. Nothing changes.
Yeah.
Like it was all a dream, but it's like, but like with like I was talking about this before. Like we were talking about. Sean had said that he'd watched Full Metal Alchemist and the
Oh, so that's
2003
getting
show.
fun.
And in the 2003 show, there's a bunch of OVAs and
Is
movies.
that the good one or the bad one?
That's the good one. The good one's the 2003 one. Well, in my opinion, the good one's the 2003 one. But
Which one's the one that actually finishes the show?
2003.
That's the Brotherhood? That's the one you're talking about? All right.
I don't know. It gets confusing, but
So-
they do a similar thing where it's like the movies and OVAs will take place between specific episodes, but in Full Metal Alchemist, that actually kind of matters. Like it not like
Yeah.
they're self-contained enough that it's like oh yeah, that happens, but you don't really have to know about it. It's not too important. It's self-contained enough, but like if you do watch it, it's probably the best way to watch it is by
Yeah,
jumping
but
around a little bit.
can I just say about Full Metal Alchemist? So,
No.
all right, let's move on. No, so Full Metal
I haven't
Alchemist,
made my point about my hero yet.
the first 7 episodes. So like I really enjoyed it. Like the first, like I would say the 7th episode in particular, but the 6 episodes, the first 6
Man, you're
episodes.
gonna have to be
I
more
like.
specific. There are too many episodes for you to be calling out numbers like that.
So I'll just go. First 6 episodes, it's more like an action comedy, and then they
Yes.
pull the dog episode out in episode 7.
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Literally,
episode
I
7.
heard
Yes,
I
of course.
heard of the dog episode
The
online,
dog.
and I thought it was in Brotherhood. I thought it was going to be
Oh,
in
you're talking about you're talking about My Hero. Oh,
No, I'm talking about Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
why do you have to bring up the dog episode, dude?
Bro,
It's so fucked up.
the dog episode like broke me because
Yeah.
I knew the twist because I saw it online, but I wasn't expecting it like this early. I thought it was
I
going to be
knew
in
nothing
Brotherhood.
going in. I knew nothing going in.
All right, so
Well,
let me paint
I
a-
knew it was coming, and then it came out of nowhere, and I was like, no, no.
Because it's the cute little girl and her like super kind dad, and the boys are living with them, like just staying at their place for like a couple days while he's doing the alchemist traineeship or whatever, the
Yeah,
entry fee or whatever it is, and then it's like that shit happens, and it's like, no, you did
Yeah.
not just fucking do that, dude. No,
It-
it's like it crushes you, it kills you.
Let me paint you guys a picture. My school had a big library, and when I was in like grade 8 or whatever, maybe grade 9, I was going through all the sections, and I came across like the Japanese cartoon section, right? The comic section.
Oh, the hentai section.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And I came across this like 10 what do you call it? Like Harry Potter Order of the Phoenix thick books. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Pull it open, it's Full Metal Alchemist. And I read to that point of the dog episode.
Oh my gosh,
Immediately stopped reading.
bro. All right, I'm gonna move on. Have you guys seen Demon Slayer?
No.
I've seen tidbits.
Here's the thing. I have not, and I'm planning to. So let's move
Okay.
on.
Oh yeah, move
Okay,
on.
wait. Can I just say one thing about Demon Slayer? So
You can say one thing.
So I just finished like up to where it is right now. They just finished season 2
Most
probably
recent.
they probably finished season 2 probably about a month ago. So I just finished that yesterday. And
Apparently,
my favorite
good.
episode. So like throughout the series it's sort of like a comedy but mostly like an action drama sort of thing, and they have little tidbits of comedy. And they have one episode, it's episode 24 of season 1, the second to last episode, is my favorite episode because it's just it's where they let the comedic characters be comedic the whole time. It's so funny. So like I won't spoil why they're in the situation. I'll just say what happens. So
so much better.
So basically, they're the 3 main characters, Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu. Oh no, Zenitsu. They're in a hospital, and Zenitsu is like injured more than Inosuke and Tanjiro, and they're in a hospital, and the hospital's run by women. That this will come back later, because Zenitsu is a simp. Just keep that in mind. And because Tanjiro and Inosuke are like a lot more healthier than Zenitsu at the moment, they've been told they have to go to a thing called rehabilitation training, and they do that for 2 weeks before Zenitsu can arrive. And they come back and they're beat, they're like miserable, and they hate themselves. Like every day they keep coming back, and Zenitsu is terrified. And he gets there, and he gets to the training with them after he's healed up enough, and they explain the training to him. And again, the hospital's run by women, And so they say to him, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get a massage from the three women over here. They're going to stretch you and you're going to be flexible again. Then you're going to play a game where you have to throw a cup of water in the person's face, but you can block people so you can cover their hands and everything. And the third thing is you have to play tag and you have to catch the person. And it's revealed that Inosuke and Tanjiro have failed those two tasks. Like every day, they're not fast enough to throw the cup in the face. They're not fast enough to win in tag. And they're struggling. And Zenitsu brings the two outside and screams and yells at them that why were they complaining? They're in paradise. They're getting massages from girls. They get to touch their hands in the bottle game and they get to grab them in tag. And it's just like this over the top thing. It's very funny.
I can't believe I can't watch Demon Slayer anymore. You've spoiled the entire show.
I didn't spoil the entire show.
There's a lot more going on than just that.
I like in the grand scheme of things, I probably spoiled 5 minutes of a bottle episode.
Ruined. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway,
and we're back.
I've got two more notes of things. I rewatched Death Note.
Which one?
The anime.
The bad one.
What do you mean?
No, he's pulling your leg. Don't worry.
I know. I was like, are you talking about the movie, the Netflix movie?
The only thing I liked about that movie was
Is
Willem Dafoe. He is
Yeah.
the best part. Other than that, it's like it's a District 9 movie, but it just so happens to have references to Death Note.
So I watched.
You have like a 9 out of 10 show on the anime, and then you have a 2 out of 10
1
on the
out of-
movie.
Yeah.
I watched the anime after I watched the movie, and I'm stunned at how badly they messed up that movie.
Yeah.
It's such a simple the show. In the grand scheme of things, is such a simple idea. It's literally just like a cat and mouse game between two people, or like one person who's killing people. And you're going through it from both perspectives. So it's an easy story to comprehend, and then they just make it terrible. I just don't know how they did that. But anyway, I will say with the anime, the first season. The first season before L dies is amazing. The second season, even though it's still good, is kind of a bore.
Yeah. I understand that, but I was intrigued all the way through. Like from the very start to the very end, I was fully on board, and I was on the edge of my seat.
For my first time watching it, I was. For the second time, I just felt like that second season kind of dragged on.
Yeah, but I think it's because like that, like obviously the saga between Light, Yagami, and L, like that's the main driving force of the entire of like that entire first part of that show. But yeah, I think once you know that like L's gonna die, it's like, oh well, yeah, it's all over. It's all down. Like it doesn't go downhill, but when you rewatch it, it definitely feels downhill because you know that L's eventually gonna get caught. And Light, sorry, he becomes L, so it's interchangeable.
All right, I'm gonna try and wrap this up. I've got my last note. So my last note is that I wanted to talk about. Jeez Louise. My last note that I have written here is podcasts, and I wanted to talk to you guys about a podcast that I listened to recently called.
Is it this one?
Is it what?
Is it this one?
Is it this one?
No, it's not. It's not the Movie Scoops podcast. It's a podcast called Haleywood, and the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because it's a true story, and it's insane.
Is this a part of the podcast pyramid scheme? Someone listens to this, and then you send them on to Haleywood.
Well, I don't want them to go listen to it. I don't want them to listen to Haleywood. I want them to listen to the Movie Scoots podcast. No. I loved Haleywood, but so
don't listen to it.
So Haleywood, apparently, so this is the story of Haleywood. In the 1990s, Bruce Willis moved to a town called Haley in Idaho. He moved with his wife. And this is before he moved there just before he got famous with Die Hard, and then when he got famous, he started buying up properties in Haley to kind of become the mayor of Haley.
Genius.
So, and there's like bits in it where like he bought a restaurant that's based off him. He had like a giant framed picture of him as a baby. He had like a newspaper in the town that were constantly writing about him. So he bought the building that the newspaper was in and then kicked them out. Another thing he did was he bought his neighbor's house so his wife Demi Moore could have a dollhouse, a real life dollhouse.
What?
Yeah, so apparently Demi Moore has a collection of 2,000 ceramic dolls. So he bought a house.
I thought Nicolas Cage had a problem with his money. Holy crap.
He bought a house and for his wife to have dolls in. And it's an 8-part series.
Is
It's
this
really
a
it's
horror,
really good.
like a thriller podcast?
Yeah, it sounds like the
No,
beginning
it's just-
of like a horror story, like the Christian saga. Like
It just goes through like
slowly-
everything
It's
that
the
that he's
happened with
wasted
Bruce
his money
Willis.
The wife put all
Wow.
the ceramic dolls in the house, and the next day they're all gone.
they all walked out the door, or the doors and windows were open and unlocked.
Yeah,
They went on
All
strike.
disappeared.
They went on
They
Oh,
all went on
strike.
strike.
they were all pointed to face one doll in the middle of the room.
Well,
So it's just like an 8-part series where they're like, so Bruce Willis moved here, and like he was a part owner of Planet Hollywood, and when that went bankrupt, he bought a restaurant and made it his own restaurant, like everyone else in the 90s was doing at the time, where they were making
Yeah.
themed restaurants about themselves. And he bought up a movie theater and started doing like he
Bruce
he
Willis
bought up
movie.
a movie theater and he did premieres in Idaho. He did 12 Monkeys, the premiere in Idaho. He
When-
paid
when-
for.
oh my god, I want to
Career takeoff.
talk about 12 Monkeys. All right, like really quick. I'm sorry to do this to you, Sean,
Oh,
but
good.
The show or the movie?
pardon?
The show or the movie?
The show. No, the movie.
Okay, I'm on board.
So I was talking to my mom about like movies to watch, like from the 90s and 2000s and like late 80s, and she's like, "Oh, you've got to see 12 Monkeys. If you haven't seen 12 Monkeys already, you should probably get onto it." And I watched it, and then my mom was like, "So did you get it?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Did I get it?" He's like, the big twist at the end," and I was like, "There's no twist at the end because the ending is explained in the taxi cab on the way to the airport. There's no big twist because everything's revealed like at the last 5 minutes of the film." And like
Yeah, the twist.
I looked it up online and everyone's like, "Man, I still can't wrap my head around 12 Monkeys." And it's like, does everyone just skip past the taxi scene, or does everyone just like go comatose for like 10 seconds straight before the ending of the film? Like what's the like you get what's happening because she's like, "Oh, you are actually from the future, but like a different alternate reality of the future, not like the real future that is about to happen." You know, like it's not all in his head, like he keeps saying to himself, like at the end of the movie. No, it's happened. Like it happened, but it's a different timeline of events. Like he's in a different past,
Yeah.
so it has nothing to do with the future he's coming from. So it's it's
Yeah.
stupid.
Okay.
And we're back.
My my final thing here that I want to do, I'm going to start with Spencer because I feel like Spencer hasn't spoken a lot on this podcast.
I
agree.
speak only when I have something to say.
I
Okay,
speak when spoken to.
Spencer.
And
If
then
you
there's
could-
Patrick.
If you could
Craig knows what's
give, if you could give anything from this past year or last year a Shawnee, it can be for best movie, best
Is that-
actor.
Is that like a
This
good
is-
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the short. Oh my god, you are
Yeah,
not
one.
a Movie Scoops
I'm gonna,
podcast
I'm gonna
fan.
pretend. I'm gonna
I don't
pretend you
listen
didn't
to
say that.
podcasts. I read
I'm gonna
books.
pretend you didn't say that.
That's a lie.
Um,
You showed me a food podcast where they eat Wendy's every fucking weekend. You
Yeah, but
numbnut.
that's different.
Okay,
That's funny.
okay, Spencer. So Shawnee is like an Oscar.
Okay.
It's pretty.
But it's
it's
Sean's Oscar. You know.
It's my Oscar. So if you could give a Shawnee to anything, it can be from it has to be from a movie from either this year or last year. Like it can be
Yeah.
like your favorite actor, or it can be your favorite movie. But you can only give out one. What would it be for?
Okay. If I can't give it out,
It can't be
for
Digimon.
it can't be Digimon.
Because that
I,
was unless it was re-released or if it was like
I watched it
Mewtwo
last
Strikes
week.
Again.
No. If I have to choose anything,
Is this going to be the same question for you, Patrick? So think of your
Yeah,
answer.
no, I've
I
already
would,
got an answer. Don't
I
worry.
would put it towards the love and devotion of Denis Villeneuve for Dune.
Oh yeah,
Dune.
100% for
All right,
best
all right.
director.
Yeah, director, I'd give it to the guy behind CGI. I'd give it to the cinematographer.
Yeah,
Give it to everyone on set. Jesus Christ.
but not the scriptwriter.
Not the scriptwriter.
I'm kidding. All right. Yeah, we're all jokers. So Patrick.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Sean,
why
you
so
hate Dune, right?
serious?
Patrick.
Listen,
Joker
I know
didn't come out in the last few years,
you're
right?
gonna disagree with me, Sean. I already know it, but Green Knight, easy. I love everything to deal with the Holy
Mon.
Grail and the
Uh,
Round Table
and I'm
and
muted.
bruh.
Have mercy.
Um, I
I
I love all that King Arthur stuff
Alright,
and
alright.
Excalibur. I'm a big fan
Why
of
don't you
that.
try pitching it to
I
me? You've got
do
30
I do
seconds.
disagree, but only because I do disagree, but that's only because I do agree with Spencer. I do feel like
Dune, yeah.
Dune is amazing, but if I had to give a Shawnee to anyone, I'd probably give it to the Suicide Squad.
The original one, yeah.
Really?
No, the Suicide Squad with James Gunn. That movie is so fun, and I love it.
Here's the thing. You're not giving it to the Suicide Squad. You're giving it to the improvement.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
I
yeah,
am.
that's
I
fair,
am.
that's
I
fair.
am 100%.
If that movie came out if the original Suicide
Instead,
Squad
yeah.
hadn't come out and it was just this, you'd be like, that's a pretty good movie. I'm still giving it to the Batman or Dune or whatever.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
Yeah.
I feel like
This movie's success is just crawling over the dead corpse of the old one's failure.
so can I like so the reason why I'm giving it to the Suicide Squad is
The movie
for a
or
few
the
reasons.
director or what?
I'm giving it to the movie and the director and the writer.
Yeah.
I feel like with the Suicide Squad, in the timing that it came out with, I feel like it does a really like if we compare it to something like Spider-Man, like we can't compare it to the Batman because the Batman's amazing, but I don't want to give like the answer of it's the Batman because that came out 2 weeks ago. And like if you compare it to something like Spider-Man, Spider-Man felt like, to me personally, it didn't feel like it was filmed on location a lot. It was filmed like in front of a green screen a lot. You can kind of tell. But I feel like what sets the Suicide Squad apart was that it's filmed mostly on location.
Yeah, there's not as much green screen, or it doesn't seem as noticeable as the first one. Yeah.
And
I can agree with that.
even like the cinematography in that movie is really good
Mm.
and really unique.
I still have to disagree. I'm still on my high horse for Green Knight. Like Dev Patel, like he portrays Gawain in like in such a manner. Oh, by the way, Gawain's like the nephew of, is it no, nephew's masculine, yeah, nephew of King Arthur just before he passes away. And he goes on his own mini quest with Excalibur, and then Excalibur gets stolen from, no, sorry, of there's a Christmas tradition where uh a, a a ghost of like a tree comes in and you have to fight it, and if you win you have to prove that you're man enough to face him once again. And if you don't return, he comes to you and he murders you. And the entire suspense of Green Knight, I had read the story before in primary school, and I thought it was a really cool idea, and as a kid I wanted to make Green Knight. I wanted to make that into a movie. But yeah, but obviously Green Knight's already a thing, so there's a little bit of bias there, but I feel like this was perfectly done. That I was like, okay, I don't feel like I have to make this because like it's already been made. Like this is the best you could possibly be, like with this adaptation, and so yeah, you've basically got to prove to yourself, to the spirit, I'm man enough to face you in cold blood. I'm willing to lay my life to show you that I have honor, I have courage, and it took me 5 days to get here,
Oh,
but
that's the plot of the
I'm
last duel, written
oh well
by
that
Ridley
too,
Scott.
yeah.
Of
Yeah,
that movie. Too true.
oh, kind of
Can I just say I did not like that movie,
You're
Last
wrong, and
Duel.
let me tell you why.
The Last Duel.
I can't
No,
believe
did
they
not like
finally
that
made a
movie.
I
movie
thought it was
that
pretty good.
everyone.
I didn't
Dude,
like the
everyone's
movie
right. Everyone's
because I didn't like the three perspectives thing.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, my mum
I'll
was the
explain.
exact same way. Yeah.
I'll explain. By the time it got to
What's this movie
the
with my
final
mom?
perspective,
When it gets to the lady, her fair lady, it's kind of just like, yeah, we've seen this twice before. I don't really want to see this poor woman get raped for like the
No,
third time.
well,
Fucking-
I
Fucking
agree.
millennials.
I agree, but
Ruining the
what did
industry.
it for me was when it got to the woman's perspective, I completely forgot about anything that happened in Matt Damon's character's perspective. Like
Oh yeah,
I
because
di-
he's portrayed as such a dick. Yeah.
well, I mean, I don't remember like anything all I remember was that he was in love and he had like a really good relationship with his wife and everything, and then like you go through Adam Driver and you're like, okay, and then he goes to the third one and you're like, wait, like what actually happened
It puts
in
all
Matt
the
Damon's
characters in the
perspective?
head from her perspective. Yeah.
Ish
I feel like
brain. Just get good,
Like
dude.
it
Just
portrays
remember.
Matt Damon's character as just a complete dickhead, and then Adam Driver's like a gray area where he's like, yeah, he raped me, but
that's
he's
the
not
worst
as
part.
much of a
I
dick
watched
as
this movie the best
Yeah.
way possible. I went into the movie theater about 20 minutes late, and I was reading up Wikipedia,
oh,
trying to figure out the synopsis so
what had
far.
happened 20 minutes
And
before.
I
Yeah.
accidentally read a bit too far.
All right.
I watched it the worst way possible. I watched it with my parents.
Do you mean the best?
No, that's the worst. Because
Alright, Craig.
going into it, my mum was like, "Oh yeah, it's based on like real events that happened, like between the conflict of France and like Britain,
Yes,
like just before the turn of,
Ferdinand.
but just before the turn, like when there were still nights and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool. I'd like to watch that. You know, like a docudrama." And then it gets to like that point where it's like Adam Driver uses the horse guy from early in the film to like trick
Oh.
her into letting him into the house, and then him raping her. And I'm like, oh, this was
I'm
the
in a
wrong movie.
similar
This is the wrong movie.
situation.
This is the wrong movie.
I'm in a similar situation at the moment. My parents are currently watching Breaking Bad,
Mm.
and it
Mm.
seems to be every time I walk into their room to go say hi to them, they're on like the one sex scene that's in like every season, like
Every
the one.
episode or every second episode, yeah.
Well, no, they're not in every second episode. They're quite rare in the series. Like I'd probably say there's 2 in the first season, and then there's like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 in the rest of the series.
Mm.
And every time I walk in, it's there.
Good timing.
And I have to like when I sit down, I have to go like, "Oh, I gotta go to the toilet," and then come back when I know when I know they're past it, and they
Yeah.
know. My parents know that I know it's coming. It's quite funny. I've got one last thing to
before
ask
we
you
move
guys
on,
before we finish.
Before we move
yeah?
on, Craig, who you giving the Shawnee to? All right. He's pulling out his phone. He's pointing to Free Guy 2022.
Oh, can I just
sucked.
say?
That sucked.
Wait, did you say it
Honestly.
sucked?
No,
Yeah, I didn't like it.
2021,
I didn't
my
like
bad.
I
Free Guy.
loved Free Guy. Oh my gosh!
I think
thought-
it's because when it came out, one of our mutual friends, just like raved on about it, like because he had seen it twice in one weekend with like 2 different friend groups,
He did that to himself?
and he just raved on it for like a week straight about like how good it was, and I was just like, wow, he's really overhyping this. This is
Yeah.
probably one of the best pseudo like you know how Wreck-It Ralph is. It's not really a video game adaptation. It's like video game culture, and like it just kind of uses it as a stepping stone to tell
Yeah.
the story. It
I
felt like, oh, this
agree.
is the next big step in that kind of pseudo genre. But like when I watched it, I was like, yeah, but Wreck-It Ralph came out in like 2013, and that was like over 7 years ago.
I don't
Enough
know
time for a
why
sequel.
I like Free Guy.
Oh, God, break the internet.
I don't know
More
why I
break
like
my
Free
fucking
Guy,
head on the
but
curb.
I just enjoy that movie
Break my
so
spine.
much. Like when I watch that movie, like I don't normally cry in movies. Like I rarely ever do it. But when Buddy died, like he's such a minor
Wow.
character. Like he's in it for like
Spoilers.
No, he said he's gonna do it at the start.
Spencer. Stop.
I haven't seen the movie.
Every like
Oh no, that's even worse.
when Buddy dies, like he's quite a minor character. He's only in like maybe 10 minutes of the whole film, but he made such a big impact that when he dies in that scene, it broke me. I was like crying from tears of joy.
Oh, Craig's giving a runner-up. He's saying Moonfall is his second choice.
Oh my, get out of here, Craig.
Good choice.
Moonfall
Christ.
is I watched that in cinema and I walked out because it was so dumb. I felt like I lost 30 brain cells watching that movie.
Here's the thing about
Get a
Moonfall. You
refund
need to
at least?
understand.
Bro,
There's gonna be a sequel, and I can't wait.
I lost so many IQ points watching that movie.
Worth it.
Okay, my
It's
last thing.
Thinking Man's Don't Look Up.
Oh, I hate Don't Look Up. I hate
You're
that.
wrong.
I watched that with my family and I hated it.
It's got the Bon Iver soundtrack fade out.
I don't.
What do
I
you
like
mean?
the soundtrack is good. I felt the story was bad. All right. My last question for you guys before we end it.
Yeah.
What's the one thing you're most looking forward to?
Most
Coming
looking
out.
forward to
Like in this year?
Alright.
Movie, TV show.
this year. Fuck.
All right, let's go with the next 6 months.
Spencer just used his one F-bomb.
Yeah, that's the
Bro,
one.
you've used it about 50 times. I've counted.
You gotta cut them all out except for that one because that was the only one.
You did it.
Yep.
You did it, Patrick.
No, but I announced it. I said, okay, that's my one. That's it.
For the listener that's come into this podcast and listened up until this point, thank you for listening this far.
That's all.
Sticking around.
Before
Thanks
I
for that.
started this podcast,
How'd you manage it?
I told these two that we needed to have a PG-13 rating where we'd all like there'd be an F-bomb at the end.
Fuck no.
Yeah. But Spencer and I have both used ours, so I guess we're not doing that.
Yeah, we both used our one.
Okay. So we'll start off with Patrick and then we'll go to Spencer and then we'll end.
Alright,
Honestly, the only two movies that I kind of looked at and was really ambitious about this year was Turning Red, which is a Pixar movie, and Zac Efron's Gold. That was the only two 2022 movies that I was really looking forward to. But I guess as a second runner-up, I'd probably have to say, like maybe not movie-wise, but TV show-wise, would probably be Kenobi. Like that's the
Yeah.
only thing I'm really looking forward to this year. But even then, that comes out in. But even then, that comes out in like 2 months.
It comes out
So-
in about
Yeah,
a
in
month.
May.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It comes out the day before my birthday.
Is it not coming out on May the 4th?
It's
no,
coming
it's
out
coming
on
out May 25th.
What a fucking... I'm sorry.
Because that's
And we're
the.
back. What a terrible decision.
Okay.
And we're back.
Spencer.
Alright,
What are you most looking forward to?
I have a few answers.
You only have one. You need one answer.
I'll give you three.
Oh no, you'll give me one.
So the first of the three TV shows, The Boys and Invincible. I'm
Wait.
super
Are they
excited.
coming out this year?
Speaking
There's-
of The Boys, have you guys watched The Boys Diabolical?
No,
No,
plan on it.
I'm doing a what's it called?
Deep dive,
No.
binge.
Forget about it. I'm having
I
an
just-
aneurysm.
I
Alright.
just watched all of it this week.
Hmm.
Most of it's very good.
Oh.
It does kind of seem like the creator of the show is like, oh, I've got a bunch of celebrity friends who have written scripts for weird superhero stuff. Why don't we just do it this one? Chuck in
Is
a
it
member
just
of the
like a-
seven.
Honestly, I think Seth
this like a
Rogen in
what
the
if?
position of a director and producer, I
Yeah.
feel like he's really nailing on the head. Like, if you told me that the funny Weed Man from 2012 was gonna
Pineapple
be
Express.
was gonna be like one of the best producers and directors of the year 2020 and onward, I would be like, no, I don't believe you. No, in 8 years' time, this man is not going to go straight and have like the best career in the world. I wouldn't believe you. But here we are living in the best timeline, you know.
But like with The Boys by Diabolical, one episode's like written and directed by Aquafina, one's written and directed by Andy Samberg, one's written and directed by one's written and directed by Aisha Tyler. And there's one episode that I think probably the best episode is the one that takes place in the comic book universe, because it's really interesting. So the Boys comic book, when they wrote it and they did the illustrations in with actors in mind of who would play them, and the person who they wanted to play Huey was Simon Pegg.
He's the father in the show, right?
He's the father in the show.
He is too.
He's the father in the show, but this was the Boys comic book came out in like the probably mid 2000s when
when he was at his peak
young.
as the weird young dude,
when he was younger and everything, and so they had it written in mind for Simon Pegg to play that character, and he ended up playing the father of the character because he got a little bit too old. He voices the character of Huey in the comic book episode.
That's great.
Which is sick.
Yeah. It's a nice little callback, and I guess technically a call forward from that point of view.
Yeah, I'd probably say there's three like really good episodes. There's the first episode, which is like a silent film, really good. And they're all like 13 minutes long. The second one is the comic book one, and the third one is Homelander's first mission. That's a really good one.
I'm honestly enjoying that a lot more companies are kind of doing that free-flowing thing where they're doing their own versions of the Animatrix. Like we had Star Wars Visions middle of last year, mid 2021, sorry. And that was really good. Like a lot of outstanding episodes, and I really hope more companies like ease up and allow different studios, not just animation, but even giving like a 40-minute short. Like I would love to see what Quentin Tarantino would do with Star Wars or a Marvel feature, like, or give Edgar Wright the chance to make the Ant-Man he wanted to, but in like 40 minutes. Like I feel like
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah,
The Boys, like the TV show, they just released a trailer this week. Comes out in June.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that.
Wow.
I'm very excited for that. What else did you say? Invincible? I don't know if Invincible's going to come out this year.
I don't know when it's coming out, so I'm hoping.
I know that they said
something in like June or something. It'll be like coming this December. Invincible
I know that they
season 2.
said that the audio is all done. They've recorded all the dialogue.
Voice acting is the easiest part of the animation.
Yeah, they need to do the animation.
Guys, a month has passed. We've done all the audio. Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Now we're gonna lip sync to the fucking character models and make sure like the animation actually looks good.
Yes.
Thanks,
Now
guys.
2 years.
Okay, Spencer, you had one more thing left.
Yep. The last thing is Nope. Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
Horror movie.
Okay. For me, I'd probably have to say it's either Kenobi.
Well, you can only have one, dude.
You had 3, so I'm gonna have 10. Either Kenobi, Moon Knight.
It's the rules.
Moon Knight.
Mm.
Doctor Strange.
And Multiverse of Madness.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck, I forgot about that.
Doctor Strange or Black Adam. Black Adam's still coming out this year.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Apparently.
sure. Black Adam. I'm very excited for Black
wait.
Adam.
Oh.
All right. I'm going to end it here. So thank you guys for listening to the podcast.
And we're
Thanks
back.
for sticking around, honestly. Like, this has been one wild ride just to get us all here to do something. Hopefully the next time we do it in person, so this is a lot more free-flowing.
You get to see Patrick's beer gut from the 5 Guinness he downed.
Listen,
all right.
I don't know how you knew that, but...
All right, guys. We got to end this
And we're back.
podcast. We got to end this podcast. So thank you for listening. If you want to check out these guys,
Please
Patrick,
don't.
let us know how we can find you.
I'm on YouTube as Human Nerd, one full word. On Twitter, I kind of make some snarky little comments about movies, and
And you'll probably
I
get
respond to
cancelled in 10
YouTubers.
years.
That's at Human Nerd 26, and my Instagram's just Human Nerd once again.
And what about you, Spencer? I know you said that you don't use social
If
media,
you
but
guys can find me, I would like to know how so I can stop that. But if you want to look up something, look up meat spin on Google. That's the easiest way to contact me
No,
if
no,
you want to
no,
talk
no. If
any
if you
business inquiries.
okay, I'm gonna cut that
if you
out.
want to use
Thank you,
Spencer,
guys.
if wait, hold on. If you want to find out what Spencer looks like, go to my YouTube channel. And you just gotta look. You just gotta look. You know.
Backrooms footage or something.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. I'll hope to see you next time. I'll probably get these guys on again. Maybe together we might get someone else, or I might do it one at a time. We'll find out. But thank you guys for enjoying me. Yeah, thank you.